Good afternoon and good evening, Internet. In honor of the legend Richard Donner, we're going to start our show today with a 91-second moment of silence. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is Monday, July 5th, 2021. Welcome to episode 63 of Lights, Thunder, Action, where every week two Thunder buddies discuss all things Marvel, Star Wars, DC, and the latest happenings in the entertainment industry. I'm Thomas Carter Rochester.
And I'm David Thompson. And today we will be discussing the brand new Spider-Man No Way Home toys. Ladies and gentlemen, we have some official merchandise to discuss. And we're bringing in a very special guest specifically chosen to talk about toys. And if you know, you know, but we will introduce him in just 1 second. We've got a bevy of other news. Yeah, we got a great show for you guys today. Can't wait. It's a Monday. Happy July 5th. Glad you all made it through the fireworks and all the fun festivities of Independence Day yesterday. But before any of that, Thomas, what do you got for me?
As you know, every week we're live, beaming directly into your homes and phones via Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. You can find our links to our social medias as well as where we stream on our personal sites at Linktr.com/LightsThunderAction. That'll get you links to our Facebook page, our Twitch, and our Twitter, where we are live streaming like right now, dude. And also it'll send you to the HWWS HWWSWebTV YouTube channel. I almost got there. It's a Monday. As well as you'll be able to find us being carried on their Facebook, their Twitch, and their Twitter as well. HWWSWebTV. It's a family, and they keep us going here. David, where can everyone listen to our beautiful voices if they don't like looking at our ugly mugs?
Yeah, if you guys don't want to look at us, if you're going for a ride, going for a jog, doing anything else that involves your eyes and hands and activity, and you guys want to just listen to us, check us out on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, our hosting site Spreaker, and a bevy of other podcast services. Please let us know. We've had some people reach out before and ask if we are on a certain service. We try to get anywhere you try or you like to listen to your audio podcast. So yes, our full catalog of shows, Loki specials, interviews should all be up by now, including our latest Loki episode 4 special with the She Will Rock You podcast. That was an absolute blast. Go check that out. that is up now. And last week's episode 62, they keep rolling. We keep going 2 times a week. Can't wait to keep it going. And yes, please, if you're feeling generous, 5-star, subscribe, follow, keep up with the audio podcast. Leave us a little review. We appreciate all of your generosity.
Yes, David, I like your optimism on keeping the 2 shows a week. I gotta be honest with you, man. I love it. Keep that up, boy. Ladies and gentlemen, I know before it's important to note that we're about to jump into something not super great and something that we need to talk about. News that was just released. Obviously, we opened the show, our live feed, with a 91-second moment of silence for Richard Donner. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So before we get to that, I have to preface the energy you're about to see is not pointed in that topic. Because we begin from Chirac, the direct's pop funko expert, John Ross Bradford.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
It's going well. The Funko King is here. Here to talk about the toys. Can't believe I got him. I got him off his throne, writing all these good Funko articles for thedirect.com, and he's with us today, ladies and gentlemen. Can't wait. How you doing, John Ross?
Doing great. I'm glad you finally wore me down and got me to come on here again. No, just kidding. First time he asked, I was like, I'm all for it. So, yeah, I think my last time on here was like episode like 43 or something. Now we're up in the 60s, I think. So,
wow, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while, but I'm doing great. Very, very glad, very thankful to be here. So thanks again for having me.
Of course, man. Thank you for joining us. I mean, by the way, if you're not able to watch this video, you got to shout out the Peter Tingle shirt he's wearing. Just glorious. You know, if in my opinion, there's only one of us on this stream right now with a good shirt, and it's John Ross Bradford.
Little Florida Gator shade. Little shade.
Yeah, Florida Gator shade. Always sending it that way. I got to be honest. You know, go Knowles. We're garbage, but I stand by my Knowles. I'm just wearing a boring plain shirt because I forgot to change. I've been working. I'm still uploading the images really quick. David, real quick, is there a particular order you wanted these photos in? Please say no.
No.
Okay, okay, cool.
Not at all.
David, how you doing, you beautiful son of a Krypton?
I'm doing good, man. And I'm looking at my picture of myself right now. I'm looking very pale, and that reminds me. Well, first off, I'm a very pale person, but it reminds me I've been watching Twilight for the first time with my girlfriend.
What an amazing segue. That's great.
What a segue. Okay.
And I've never seen them before. I like them more than I thought I would. I'm not gonna lie. We actually just before this show, we finished Eclipse. It was great. We DVR'd them. They all played on Freeform, the old ABC Family channel, and it was a crazy marathon, and we've recorded all of them. So now we have all of them to watch for free. Just fast forward through the commercials, which is funny. I haven't done that in forever, I guess, because streaming and everything nowadays, and it almost feels so old school, even though before it was so cool. But and now it's a pain just to flip through the commercials, let alone actually watch them. Anyway, yeah, they've been pretty good. I'm into it. I don't mind. We finished Eclipse, and now we're on to part 1 of what is it? Breaking Dawn. That's what it's called. And now there's part 1 of that, part 2. Honestly, man, I like Batman. Robert Pattinson's pretty cool. I hope I hope I enjoy him more as Batman than I do as him as a vampire. But I did say something to someone where I was like, is it weird that these movies are making me just a touch more excited for Blade? Because I'm not really, I've never watched any fiction hardly ever with vampires in it for whatever reason. And my girlfriend she watched Vampire Diaries, and she was telling me how depending on the fiction or the show or the movie, the creators always like to change what vampires' abilities are and do. And I'm yeah, I need to read some Blade or something, man.
Have you ever heard of What We Do in the Shadows, David? Have I ever went on my soapbox about how good this show is?
You've said something, but I've never watched it.
You need to watch that. just so you can be like, well, maybe I'd like to see Blade in that universe.
Right.
Because it would be hijinks. Man.
Have you seen Vampire Diaries?
No, I've not.
Okay.
Not my thing. Neither is the Twilight. I'm 0% surprised you're enjoying it, though.
Yeah, it's fun. It's honestly like,
It's just a popcorn flick is what I've been told.
totally a popcorn flick, and there's 5 of them, and they really like. I actually noticed it was impressive to me. They come in, or they were released 1 year after another. So it's 5 movies in 5 years, which is really impressive. Like, I think it's actually really, from just like a filmmaking point of view and like the studio, that's actually a really impressive feat to make. And especially, I guess, now in the days where we've been waiting what it feels like years for movies because of COVID, it's like, oh, what a time where like a whole story could have been coming out year after year after year. But yeah, it's pretty good. Enough of Twilight, though. John Ross, is there anything you've been watching lately they'd like to share with our audience?
Yeah, I just saw The Tomorrow War. I put it off for a couple days because I wasn't too sure how it was going to be, and now I'm upset that I didn't watch it as soon as it dropped because it's easily become my favorite MCU or greater universe movie. Like, it's its own thing, and it works so well. They established so much in this movie. I didn't realize how big the budget was.
Yeah,
they really don't hold back at all. Really cool original idea for like the aliens that are in it. Super interesting time travel story that doesn't feel derivative of any other franchise that's kind of, dabbled in that sense. But yeah, I totally recommend it. I'm going to watch it again. And if they do release a physical copy, I'm for sure going to buy it.
That's so funny, man. I saw that and I'm like, okay, Chris Pratt, cool in it. And then I've kind of heard some bad things, and now I feel like I've been hearing a lot of great things about it. And now
it's the outlets, man. It's the outlets. The people like it. I don't know why. You can tell it's very efficiently enjoyable. The way that it tells the story that needs to be told, but that shouldn't be the whole part you're focusing on. It definitely is an action movie that you go to see for the action, but the story holds up too. And even the supporting cast was great. Like Yvonne Strahovski, I haven't seen her in anything since she was in Chuck on NBC. That's how long it's been. Yeah. And she showed up, she killed it. J.K. Simmons, a given, he killed it.
Jacked.
My goodness, that dude is ripped. I can't
finally
believe it.
Let him do it. They finally let him put on a tank top and be like, "What can I say? I'm jacked."
My girlfriend.
He wants pictures of Spider-Man.
We better see that in No Way Home, man. No, I just saw him in Whiplash. My girlfriend had just told me we watched it together because I hadn't seen it.
Your first time watching it?
Yeah, I hadn't seen it before. I just I wrote it off because I'm not a big Miles Teller fan. But this movie changed my mind on him for sure.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Because I was basing a lot of it on his Fantastic Four stuff, and
oh wow, that's unfortunate.
It's just unfair. That's like saying you base Michael B. Jordan's performance off of that. But anyway, J.K. Simmons, they kind of hinted that he was sort of ripped, under the t-shirt, but in this movie they didn't hold back at all. It's just it's a super fun watch. 100% recommended.
I gotta check it out. Have you seen it, Thomas?
Yeah. Yeah, I have. Is my son? Yeah, I have, man. I watched it the other day. My one of my managers was like, "Oh, you should check out The Tomorrow War." I only got like 30 minutes in, but it's super good. So I went home and I watched it, and I was like, "I'm so happy I didn't watch this before bed because when those aliens show up, stuff of nightmares."
It happens, man.
And completely original, and was like, oh wow, that really hooked. I was like, okay, what do these aliens look like? Oh my god, that's terrible. Like it takes like a few times seeing them before you're like, okay, now let's kill these things because they're just. I was just thinking, dude, like if they like showed up, we would be toast. Like there's nothing we could do. They're basically. Let me summarize it like this: zombies with the physicality of wild animals.
Yeah,
on a level. That
they can run,
humans, man. Oh man, they can listen. They run. They can't just. It's not just run, dude. That scene where they're like attacking that raft, if you will.
Oh, they can swim too. Yeah.
And they're like swimming.
And they can glide.
So fast.
They can glide.
Yeah.
They have like that weird extra skin or whatever where they can't fly, but if they get enough height, they can like take down a helicopter if they can get above it. It's again
kind of like the Outriders.
Actually, yeah. The tenacity,
Design.
like the blind aggression, very similar to the MCU in that sense. But it didn't feel derivative of anything. Like,
oh no,
on paper, you could have thought, okay, maybe that's sort of similar to A Quiet Place. And I could totally see why you'd think that. But once you see the movie, you're not even thinking of John Krasinski. It's all Chris Pratt. And the story feels very, very well thought out and very well done.
Yeah, I agree. And I will say that the thing that surprised me the most was the pacing. This film is an epic. Like, it is like an epic of Gilgamesh. It is huge. It starts you with traveling to the future. And then it it's like, oh my God, this is insane. And then 28 years earlier. So then it's like, okay, now here's the setup for that moment. You get there, you jump to the future, then you have A mission, B mission, C mission. Well, let's be real. You drop to the future, your A mission gets split into 3 pairs. Your B mission is singular. Your C mission ends up getting split into 3 pairs. So then your mission is just expanding.
Submissions, yeah.
It's just like so many subplots happening, and they keep changing and diverting and swerving. And then they get to a point, and it's like, oh man, you could end the movie right here. And they keep going. It's
what I like.
And it's not like Assassin's Creed, where it's like, oh wow, they could end the movie here, and I'd be really impressed. And then like 15 minutes later, they end it. No, it's like 40 minutes later they end the movie, and then it gets you through a whole other plot. There's probably three separate main plots in terms of what the main character is doing, because like he's left in the unknown, much like we are, and we learn through Chris Pratt, which is why it works so well. I'm starting to wonder if maybe the best place to be in Hollywood is not the star, because there's not a lot of great lines. The pay is well, I suppose, but all the memorable bits come from either the emotion that the star brings or the other lines from the characters. Like, there's certain characters who sacrifice themselves out of nowhere, and it's like, okay, bravo. Highly recommend it. It is insane. Terry McIver says, I read that part 2 of the Tomorrow War has been planned out. It'll show more of the backstory of the aliens. And all I can say is I would be very intrigued to see how they pull that one off.
I agree, because the
way
one
the movie
takeaway I did have was that, okay, this is probably a standalone film, because and I remember my girlfriend and I had that conversation. We're like, okay, with A Quiet Place, it made sense that they could build on it if they wanted to. But this one, it really felt like the resolve came about in a way where you got some closure, you know, and that, yeah, you had questions afterwards, but you were okay with those questions not being answered because of how well done the story was. So personally, I'm okay with just the one movie. I'll see a second one if they make it, just because of how impressed I was. But I don't need it. You know, I was very satisfied with this one.
Yeah, I was as well. I'm trying to find because I just had an idea. I'm trying to find the Tomorrow Wars IMDb page.
I want to check it out now. I have
because I want to get the cast and crew, because I want to make sure that I don't mess up names.
David, you have to watch it just for the sake of talking about it with us. I want to know what you think, because you have such a different eye for film sometimes.
Oh, yeah, he does.
You know me.
Yeah. So if they're gonna, do the backstory, I'm trying to avoid spoilers here because it's really good. Yvonne Strahovski's character, we could get her timeline. So let's break it down into like Dragon Ball Z terms, just so everyone can understand the simplicity. Once Future Trunks branched off, that created an alternate timeline. His timeline stayed the same way. So boom. Well, in the end of this movie, it seems as though they've created an alternate timeline. Maybe they didn't, which is also something that I thought about when it ended. I was like, what if there's X, Y, and Z going on?
Right.
So maybe they go that route. But if they didn't want to and they wanted to go with the character we see in the film and how she got to that point, so then that way you can come back and it adds even more power and emotion into this film. That's one way they could do it. In the same way how they made a prequel for The Quiet Place 2, they make a prequel for her character and how she became the Colonel.
Kind of like Black Widow.
Like Black Widow. So close. It's so
slogging off.
We're so close. I'm gonna be buying my ticket like probably at the ad break. David, did you have anything else to say?
Nope. I'm
anything else? You're sold.
Definitely.
Fucking A, man. We did it. We did it, JR. We did it. Bravo us. But as you all know, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Still going. We got bills to pay, and the HWWS Web TV family. I'm pretty certain that today tickets increased for Suncoast Fan Fest. I do believe our Hangin' 21 promo code still works for 10% off. Please, for the love of everything holy and unholy, don't quote me on that, because I'm gonna be honest, I've been at work since 4 a.m. So it's been a long day. We made it to now, so I'm feeling good about it. But having said all of that, as you know, we're a member of the HWWS Web TV family, and we would love it if you would just subscribe, man.
I'm GW Pomacher.
I'm Dina Marie.
I'm Sage Ia.
I'm Thomas Carter Rochester.
Hey, I'm David Thompson.
Hi, I'm Kevin.
And I'm Mia.
Hi, I'm Mark.
Hey there, this is Dave Adams.
Hi, I'm Rosemary Rose.
Jerome Conner here.
Hey guys, it's Josh Bauer.
It's Willow Schuyler.
I'm Cosplay Michael.
It's your boy Country.
I'm Ryan Permison.
And I'd like to ask you guys, please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please, please, please
subscribe.
Subscribe.
Please subscribe to HWWS
Web TV.
Great bunch of people.
And don't forget to smash the bell.
Ring that bell.
Smash that bell.
Hit that bell.
Hit the bell to be notified.
Hit the bell to get notified of new shows
and videos. You're going to want to do that, so do that soon.
So we can cross that 20,000 mark.
And get us to 100,000 subscribers.
To 1 million and 10 million and 100 million.
On HWWS
Web TV.
You really like it. I guarantee it.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Thor, son of Dale, here to tell you about the Life of Thor Productions official shop. The only place where you can get your official merchandise for the LightsThunderAction podcast and Life of Thor's Thor Watches series. Whether you want t-shirts, tanks, hoodies, mugs, and masks, Life of Thor Productions official shop has you covered. If you happen to recognize there's an item that you would like to buy that is not in the official shop, head over to the LightsThunderAction podcast or Life of Thor and request that item, because if you want it, we'll sell it. Just head to lotproductions.threadless.com/collections to get the item that calls out to you via the Force. Again, that is lotproductions.threadless.com/collections. Thank you, and have a Thortastic day.
Reels and Heels is a podcast that discusses movies, television, wrestling, and more. With a rotating guest list of friends and filmmakers alike, Reels and Heels salutes the creative arts of all kinds. Join Ryan Wenzeloff and Nicole Jobin live every Saturday at 2:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Reels and Heels.
A small town corner has to team up with her ex-fiancé to save a town from a swarm of mutant honeybees. There's action, drama, humor, maybe even a flamethrower or two. There's definitely a ton of bad bee puns and a very unlikely Hawaiian-wearing hero, dude. This classic sci-fi feature cheese fest, written and directed by Elise Marie and starring local talent from the Emerald Coast, invites you to join our journey from conception to reception by visiting Linktr.com/zombies the movie to keep up with all the buzz and donate to GoFundMe. Linktr.com/zombies the movie, ZOMBEEZ the movie. Technical difficulties. And we're back! I didn't want John Ross to feel left out, so I took my glasses off.
Oh,
it's now very bright.
I see, but the whole reason I noticed was because those glasses were so flattering. I mean, David, I see yours all the time, and you look like Clark Kent, and it's great. But Thomas, those glasses look great on you, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You know, they hide my eyes.
Yeah,
it is.
You don't need to not see to make me feel better. Okay.
It's not that I don't see it; just they're blue light lenses, so it really does fix my eyeballs. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the point in the show that you love, because now it's time for this beautiful journalist to my right to how does one say, to enlighten us with new information from across the entire multiverse. David Thompson works for thedirect.com. You see him here every week, and that's why it is everyone's favorite segment.
What the news?
Yes. What are we getting to what the news today? Finally, some real No Way Home news to talk about.
We got pictures of Spider-Man! We've got pictures of Spider-Man! We've got pictures of Spider-Man!
Yeah, that was pretty much all our reactions.
And a new suit.
Okay, I want to start with this. Before we flip through photos on the screen and talk to everyone through it and have the Funko King, let us know about all these good toys a bit more. I want to say, Marvel, Sony, figure it out, man. We're learning big details about the story and the suits and all through Funkos and random toys. Like, is that seriously the rollout for this movie? Like, are we going to get more, like, shirts and stuff that show us, like, MJ falling off a building or something? Like, I just don't really, like... I'm just kind of like, come on. Are you being serious? Like, I'm super amped we got them, but it's like, is this really the... Because these... Like, okay, so one thing, I think John Ross will agree with me on this. They're calling these leaks. They're not leaks. They're official postings of toys. Like, you can go on Target.com and see them right now. I was looking at one the other day. I'm like, these aren't even leaks. They're just toys going up online. So you can't, in my opinion, unlike the rumors of before, Feige or Amy Pascal can't point at this and these articles and be like, oh man, like this is annoying. The rumors, this isn't Alfred Molina. Like, this is an official thing, and they're toys. Like, I don't know. It just that bugs me. I'm super excited to talk about these because they do show us a lot and indicate, point to some things happening in the movie. But I will say, I am disappointed that we're seeing some of these things for the first time in toy form and not in a trailer, which I am convinced we will not see until after Loki because of potential spoilers. That is my current stance because that just makes the most sense to me. I think it would have had one by now if it weren't for Loki and it directly affecting it. So that's where I am at. General thoughts really quickly, JR, on just these toys coming out and kind of what I was talking on.
Well, I'm very much on board with you how it's, I don't want to call it disappointing, but at the same time, we haven't seen more than 3 shots from this entire film yet. And all 3 shots were in the same exact scene with the same 3 characters, and they don't reveal anything. It's just Peter, MJ, and Ned wandering around some abandoned building and then looking at a computer. We could have guessed that was probably in there somewhere, So we haven't seen anything from this movie that is new to us, in my opinion. And so this was the first of that. It was the first new thing we've seen. And the biggest thing about Marvel merchandise is that Marvel's so good most of the time at keeping a cap on the spoilers and keeping things from getting out. But very often, and we just saw it with WandaVision, character designs and character ideas, they change. And sometimes the concept art that they make for the show or the movie and then send off to these merchandisers to base their products off of, that's not always the final version of whatever we get in the movie or in the TV show. So with Vision in WandaVision, a piece of concept art leaked for one of these Funkos, and it was the White Vision, the new one. And he was like covered in this red energy on his face. And that, what we found out just a couple weeks ago was simply because that's how the concept art was drawn out when it had really nothing to do with the show. But yet it still made it into a Funko concept because they're so good about, keeping these spoilers under wraps that they don't really communicate with these merchandisers once they send the art out to have them, manufactured. Right. So in this case, we can be pretty certain that this is what we'll see in the movie, but we're still not totally sure. So now they're setting expectations for us for this film that there's still the very small possibility that it's not accurate. And I love that first the suit they're calling the integrated suit, with the magic that, you know, Spider-Man's wield. He's a sorcerer apparently. Yeah, it's amazing. People are saying, you know, that this is just very derivative of the Far From Home upgraded suit mixed with the Iron Spider suit, which I totally get.
Yeah.
The problem is we don't know what the heck this suit is for, how this came about, what it's gonna do, what it can do, you know. And we have all these unrealistic expectations just from this one toy. Where there's another look at it where, and a lot of people, I disagree, but a lot of people don't like this look right now.
I like it.
I think it looks great. I think it's another great original design from Marvel Studios and Sony that, you know, it takes comic inspiration, but it also has a very unique kind of distinct, separate look from anything that's been done before. So I'm not complaining about that. What I'm complaining about is the fact that they decided to show us with a toy. If you're going to reveal something that grand, something, if you're going to show us that Spider-Man is going to wield magic like Doctor Strange, why would you do it with a toy?
Yeah, exactly.
And not show it, even if it's just a 1-second clip in the trailer. Now they can't even make the excuse they didn't want to put it in the trailer because it would spoil something, because they released it as one of the common toys that's going to be available anywhere that sells these.
Yeah.
So if we don't see this in the trailer, then we really have to ask, what is their marketing team doing, and what expectations are they even trying to set for us for this film?
Okay.
I will say, you know, I lost my mind when I saw this one, because it's like, whoa. Like, this was the
absolutely,
biggest news. You know, like, this was the most telling toy where it's like, holy shit, like, Doctor Strange is going to somehow, because what I think it is, it almost seems like, because I can't imagine Peter, like, because Doctor Strange would go through so much training and rigor to, like, actually be able to control magic and stuff. It almost seems like they were able to fuse the science and the magic together to put in this suit to do very specific things, maybe like open portals or do stuff like that. Like, I don't think we're going to see him like doing the sling ring thing, but I think there might be almost like where before he's been able to do so many different things with his webbing from the Stark tech, he'll be able to have like a magic web. I don't know, something like that, where it's kind of like the
giggity,
the magic and the technology meet. Thomas, we're leaving you out. What do you think of this? And we can start flipping through some of the others if you want as well.
Of it all, this specific one,
and then we can go on to the next ones.
I'm calling this suit magic with a spider. Get it? And it's spider. You know, magic, more magic, magic with a kick. Now it's magic with a spider. Or should it have been magic with a suit? Maybe magic with a suit. But you know what? We'll fix it in post. But this is, you know, like we were just saying, like you both said, like, what is this suit? Why is it doing this? How is it doing this? Is that even actually magic? Maybe it's just a three-dimensional projection to something that simulates magic. I don't know. I'm spitballing here on the what ifs. I love this look, you know, not the one of the pop where it's showing the magic stuff, just the suit itself. Personally, I did not like the Iron Spider suit that we got. The blue on it just didn't. It felt like a caffeine-free Pepsi. I don't think anyone here knows what a caffeine-free Pepsi is, but that's what it felt like to me.
That is the best metaphor I've ever heard.
Thank you. So now that it's black, it just feels like Spider-Man.
Well, see, yeah. So I think with this one, and I here, look at this one. So this was the Iron Spider one from Endgame, right?
Yeah.
And so you see the blue in there.
Mm-hmm.
You'll notice this new one doesn't have that. It's gold. And I think that's almost righting a wrong in that sense, because you're right. The blue, like the golden spider, looks like what the Iron Spider should look like. That blue in there was like, the blue kind of overtook the suit and almost made it feel like it was like less vibrant. Like it almost took away from it. So I totally get that. It's just this suit is going to be so interesting because you're right. This toy doesn't show any sort of like magic use at all, but the other one had it in his web slinger and on his chest, and
it was it was integrated in there.
Well, that makes you wonder. Well, is that even Spider-Man? Because then, and I don't know if you guys want to pull this article up or not, but the one I just sent over to you is a Infinity War concept art of Doctor Strange wearing the Iron Man suit.
Yeah,
and that this seems
pulling it up now.
Very reminiscent of that. Is that maybe since it does seem to maybe have some nanotech technology like the Iron Spider armor did, maybe Doctor Strange has to put the suit on for some reason. It seems unlikely. I don't even know if I would want to see that really.
I would not.
But I have to at least bring it up because that's an idea that's been going through someone's head at Marvel Studios to where it made it to a final piece of concept art, and even a scene that was shot because there was a picture of Benedict Cumberbatch wearing the Iron Man armor on set. Yeah, that's the concept art. And you can see the Eye of Agamotto tagged in there, and then also the bluish energy that sort of,
emanates.
It resembles Tony Stark's repulsor power, but it's also kind of being repurposed for magic. So yeah, you can see that's very similar right there.
Yeah, for the non-visual, for the non-visual audience. Sorry, guys. You know where to go. Linktr.com/LightsThunderAction. And you'll be able to, catch the video version, give or take. That's a good point. I kind of forgot about the Doctor Strange of it all. What was it? What was it going to be? Iron Strange, I think, is what everyone's been kind of calling that.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot about that. That's a good point. I really hope he doesn't put on like a Spider-Man.
I've decided after saying it out loud that I don't think I want to see that at all. But it can't be ruled out either because that's something they tried to do the last time he was next to a nano suit. So could be.
Yeah.
But hey, this is not the only new Spider-Man suit we got.
You're right, David, because they gave Thomas what he needed most. A new black Spider-Man suit to love and drool over and buy two of so he can venomize one of them. A black... It's essentially, I love the simplicity of it. They basically just took the Spider-Man suit, made everything black, and made the webbing gold. Simple, to the point, very stealthy.
I love this suit. I actually think this would be the worst. Like, it's gonna look worst on a toy. I think in actuality, on screen, it's gonna look really, really cool. We had the Night Monkey suit that was all black. This is a more proper Spider-Man suit, with the black and the gold trim. Thinking about the plot and maybe like what the reasoning would be, I don't really know. This one seems the most random because the integrated suit, I feel like clearly there's an idea there of like why that he'd get that suit. Like why wouldn't he just keep with his upgraded suit? Than have this new black suit. But honestly, I mean, a lot of the times these movies are kind of there partially just to sell toys, and this definitely will sell. I like this suit a lot. I don't know why or what, and I know some people were speculating like maybe these suits aren't just for our Tom Holland Peter Parker. That's like a rumor going around. Like maybe I don't want to see that. If Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are in this movie, I hope they're in their normal suits. I don't want to see them in a Tom Holland MCU suit. I want to see them in their suits from their universe. But I think it's cool.
I mean, I would say that I wouldn't mind if they got a new suit in the movie. Like,
I don't
we're given another
MCU style one.
What I'm saying is like they canonically get a new suit. So like they show up in theirs and we get it, and then it's like, well, you guys need upgrades too, and then they get a new suit to like team up. That's a very specific plot point.
I like the idea though.
It's the only specific one where I'm like, yeah, give them a new suit because I want to see the different Spider-Man suit eras together. Because why not?
Yeah, I feel like that's a pretty good idea. I think like lines like I think that could happen. That's realistic in the story for sure.
one thing I really want to point out is that it apparently with the black suit, he may have some red sprinkled in his gauntlets and his fingertips. And this specific one, it looks like it's a 6.5-inch Marvel Legends figure of that black and gold Spider-Man suit. With the fingers, it really gave me vibes of Miles Morales.
This one seems to... Yeah, sorry.
No, go ahead.
This one seems to me like that's an overlay of his upgraded suit from the end of No Way Home. That's what his hands are specifically the exact same. But sometimes it's hard to tell with these toys. Sometimes they differ a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Because like this one doesn't have red, and this pop doesn't have red. So
right, confusion.
That's what makes me think it's probably going to be some sort of protective coating that he puts over his suit. Because if you look at the Titan Hero series box that you had up, that actually shows the promo art of him on the side of it. Yeah, that one. If you look closely at the art of the character on the box, it looks very shiny. Like it seems like it's some sort of protective suit that he's wearing over something else. The only thing I can really think of is that maybe it's for Electro, because.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh my God! Wait a minute.
Magnets.
Yes. No. Yes. Because look at his gauntlets. I've been trying to figure out the lining and why it looks technical.
Right, exactly. There's like some exposed tech specifically on his forearm, and
it's a resistor.
Right, because and the part that's weird is that Marvel Legends figure didn't have that, which it was really disappointing because that's the figure I looked at to see the detail of it, and it wasn't there. But I have a feeling that this is going to be something he or someone else develops or designs to put over his Spider-Man suit as like a protective coating to go up against someone like Electro, because that's something Spider-Man had to figure out in the comics, was that he couldn't, get into close quarters combat with Electro because he kept getting shocked. And back then it was all he did was put on some fireman gloves. But with this, Peter Parker is extremely inventive, and they didn't waste any time in Far From Home showing that. As soon as he got on the jet with Happy, he built a whole new suit just in the flight over there. So,
yeah.
What a scene!
I know, right? And so the fact that we have to be getting more of that. I mean, the fact that they're taking that route with him, they wouldn't veer off of it after kind of digging their heels in that sense. But this suit was weird to me. I'm hopeful. I'll be honest, I don't like it right now. But that's just because I can't picture it. I can't picture it in live action. I want to know what it's for. I want to know how it looks, how it moves. I even want to know who's in it, because if you look at that box right there, neither of these Spider-Men have the actual character names on the box like they usually do. It just says the movie title. It doesn't even say No Way Home. It just says Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So that's strange to me, because usually it has the name right above that Titan Hero series thing at the bottom. But yeah, these suits are so strange, and I can't believe that this is how they decided to show us. It really, I don't like questioning Marvel Studios. I see Matt Ribke's watching. His signature line is "In Feige we trust."
Yes.
But at this case, Feige's not the only one pulling the strings here, and I think we got to look at Sony and their horrible track record with marketing their movies, and really ask ourselves, what are you doing?
One thing I want to point out, speaking of Matt in the comments freaking out about Wolverine, I don't even know what's going on.
Oh, Terry, I'm so sorry. Terry McIver just said that looks like copper wiring on the black suit.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was thinking it's probably copper wiring to be resistor.
Very
sort.
cool. I like that. I'm sticking to that. I like that.
One thing I wanted to point out really quickly is, I don't know if you guys played PS4 Spider-Man. But at the very end of it's not really a spoiler. At the very end of the video game, is all I'll say. He gets a suit that's black and gold like this, and it's kind of a la that. That one, at least, based off the toy compared to the video game, that one looks a lot better than this. Especially because in that game you get this ginormous Spider-Man symbol, which I like, and it's
that
and
beautiful.
Stuff. Yeah,
it's shiny though. It's shiny.
It is
just
shiny.
Like
yeah, exactly. So,
and thanks to Alfred Molina, we know who's gonna be in the movie. I doubt they would be, take that much from the
video
game, but you know, could be, we don't know.
Thomas, let's move on to the Doctor Strange photo. I want to talk about this one.
Oh boy.
Okay, perfect. Me too. I don't know if this is Doctor Strange or Sebastian Druid. I said it.
You know, it's funny. It's a funny look. He's in boots. They're pointing to them being in some sort of like snowy tundra area, right? Or is it just a snowy day? It's supposed to be like Christmas time, I think. So maybe just snowy.
Or is it Brooklyn? A variant?
Queens? Maybe.
Could be.
Like that's what I initially thought of. I thought of like a dressed down Doctor Strange, so a variant who's just like, oh yeah, I'm not as like into it. So he wears his big puffy blue coat, some kind of shirt underneath. Still got the Eye of Agamotto. Questions, but you know, Loki of it all might answer that in 2 weeks. And then he's just got snow boots on and jeans with a nice shovel and some magic right hand.
I think that maybe this is kind of his like lay low outfit that suddenly turns into his like he has to break out magic outfit. Like if you take away the cape and his necklace, that's you know, that's just a normal looking guy.
That's true.
So maybe that's part of it. I'm just speculating. Like this is also this is a confusing photo to me because toy because you know, this isn't a normal Doctor Strange look. And it seems like whatever this look is somewhat pivotal to the story, or at least memorable, because normally when we see these pops and other toys, it's like it's something that, like, especially in these Disney Plus shows, which is really cool. You see kind of like in WandaVision, you have like the different eras, which was really cool.
Yeah.
You know, it's like something that's important to the movie. I don't really know what to make out of it, but I'm intrigued, I guess. And I think it also it points out if anything, the easy answer, it points out how pivotal a role Doctor Strange is in this movie. You know, when I think it was either Hollywood Reporter or Variety came out months ago and said like how he was going to take over sort of that mentorship position as Tony. It seems like they're going to go a similar like that route when it comes to screen time and things like that. Like he really does have an important role in this movie. John Ross, what do you think of this one?
I think it's weird, but I love it. I was talking to Pierre at the Direct about this. Oh yeah, look at me. No, I was talking to Pierre about this, and I just wanted to point out that we've seen this happen before with Doctor Strange in Infinity War, where you know he was just going to go get a sandwich down the street, and then Hulk crashes through the ceiling of the Sanctum Sanctorum, and he's got to summon his cape like right away. I mean, he's in street clothes,
right?
And so I think maybe that's what happened here is that he was just out on the streets of New York shoveling snow and something happens and he's got to summon his cape real quick and see what all the commotion was about.
Yeah.
And it makes me think of those 3 set photos that I mentioned earlier that we did get for Spider-Man No Way Home, where Peter, Ned, and MJ are kind of just exploring through this, what looks like an empty, abandoned place. Maybe that's a back room in the Sanctum Sanctorum. Doctor Strange gets an inkling like, oh, I think someone's inside right now. And he has to rush inside from shoveling snow to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
So I love, but the reason I brought up my conversation with Pierre is that this really grounds a guy like Doctor Strange because, you look at him normally. I mean, he's had only one signature look so far in the MCU, and it's all been, you know, it's his Navy garb, which he still does kind of keep with that jacket, and then the Eye of Agamotto and the cape. You don't really see him in street clothes that much. So to see this again makes them feel a little more human and reminds us that this is a human story that they're telling with human characters. And Doctor Strange, just a few years ago, was, you know, I mean, he wasn't some lowlife, but he was living it up, but he was just a surgeon in New York, you know? Yeah. And, you know, this guy, even though he's got the experience now, he's still just a guy. And I think that's a really cool aspect. And the other small reason that I think they did this was just because he hasn't had a new look in the MCU yet. Yeah. And unlike Spider-Man, they didn't want to reveal that because I know in Multiverse of Madness, he's going to, you know, get an updated look. We've already seen that. So doing this here, I think was kind of a creative way to put a new spin on his look so they could, you know, keep the merchandise rolling out for Doctor Strange.
Yeah, it makes sense. Give him a new look. It's something that would maybe sell because all Doctor Strange props at this point probably look very similar. It is funny though, because if you think back to Doctor Strange at the end, or also in Ragnarok, he had those gold gloves. What happened to those?
Yeah,
Where were
I
those
know.
in Infinity
I know.
War?
They only used them once. I was like, dude, like those
I
are
want those back.
That's part of the comic accuracy. Is like you can bring those back if you want. It wasn't poorly received.
That was just a Taika thing too.
Yeah, I know exactly.
He's like, he's wearing the gloves.
He's looking around like they haven't done this yet. I'm doing it.
And he's like, wait, no, exactly. That's exactly what he said. He's like, no one's done this yet, so I get to be the first one to do it. Awesome, I love that.
And here we are crediting him because they dashed it in Infinity War and Endgame. So
and apparently in this movie too.
I mean,
because he ain't wearing gloves in that pop.
You do need to see his hands though, because the whole point of his character is that he chose not to fix his hands.
I think that's why they do it.
Supreme. So
I mean,
to get it in like a side scene like that, I love it. I think it was awesome that they at least included it. But I do want to see it again. I totally get, seeing the handshaking and seeing the scars is totally part of his character. That's fine.
Yeah.
Right.
But you can shake in a glove.
Yeah, you can bring it back if you want. I'm fine with that. Yeah. The sling ring might be tough too, but or no, he used it with the gloves on.
He did.
I don't know. Yeah,
and,
I don't know.
That's the thing. I'm not even sure he was wearing the sling ring. I think he might have found a way because. Listen, this is why I have issues with certain things on film sets when it comes to props. I'm like super OCD. I'm like, was this angled at a 45 or a 36? And I'm like, how can you tell the difference? I don't know. I just guess that it's a 36. I know it's a 45. And they're like, okay, because he's, listen, I lost my train. I'm not even gonna lie. I lost it. I knew it was about Doctor Strange and gloves and Taika and the handshaking. Yeah, bring the gloves back. Damn it,
bring them back, man.
Sam Raimi, the pressure.
Sam Raimi, I know you're watching this. It's a LightsThunderAction podcast. Sam Raimi,
get us always here in the comments hanging out.
Listen, if we can get Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell on here, let's do it. I'm just saying.
Oh man!
All right, what
else?
What other toys do we have on here? Ned and MJ.
Ned and
MJ?
We get
Ned. MJ. I mean, I clicked on MJ. Said
with
Ned.
The
MJ
Black Dahlia necklace. Very cool.
Looking like MJ. Ned looking like Ned.
Yeah, I mean these are pretty standard issue toys right here.
Yeah, this is a Lego. We didn't add the other Lego one, David. Why didn't you add the other Lego one?
I don't know.
The one with the vulture.
Yeah, the vulture and the black suit Spider-Man. That one was the most confusing, I feel like, because what was going on there? I didn't even understand what half the stuff in that set was. There was like another spider bot or something, which actually I think shows up in this one too. Is the Tinkerer going to come back and make those killer spider bots?
Oh my God! Are we actually gonna? Oh shit!
What is that thing?
So Alistair Smythe in the comics and in the 90s animated Spider-Man series, there were the spider bots. It's how they hunted Spider-Man. And yeah, damn it, JR, you just popped open something I hadn't thought about yet.
That's what I'm here for, man. That's what I'm here for.
Who's going to fund the Sinister Six? Norman Osborn. But who's going to build for the Sinister Six? The Tinkerer. So now we've got an organization, and that organization is ready for crime.
Well, you have multiple organizations because you still have Mysterio's whole team out there too. We haven't seen them at all.
Well, here's the thing. He
said they were very wealthy. He said they got some money.
Exactly. Well, here's the thing about we haven't seen them at all. Everything we've seen so far is set before Far From Home. So that works out well. And like Black Widow will come out, and we won't really have any new movies set in that timeline other than Eternals, and maybe maybe Shang-Chi.
One thing that's really weird to me about the MCU right now is there was Far From Home in 2019, and there's No Way Home in 2021, and in theory, those two movies are gonna be set like on top of each other. And everything else coming out in between is going to be before it. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
So it's crazy. Like all this.
We're supposed to get it this month, right? Weren't we originally supposed to get that movie this month?
Yes.
Don't why you gotta do that to me, man?
Oh, so we're not living in the real world anymore. Okay. I
didn't want to remember. No, I am living in the real world. The one that it's now in the future. It ain't now. That's in the past.
You're right. That was a joke the first time. What they said, the July release date, they were kidding.
They were super fucking kidding.
It was just one of Sony's sick jokes, like the Venom movie.
In all honesty,
damn.
You know, we've gone through a pandemic and there's been crazy amounts.
There it was.
No, the crowd had to take a minute on that one.
Yeah. Let's just say time is relative, kids. Yes, it's a time joke. You got it. Green aliens from Toy Story.
So there's all these delays and stuff, right? And, you know, we've had to wait and wait. Black Widow finally coming out in July. I will say, I am very happy where No Way Home landed in that Christmas spot. Like, that's so exciting to me because July is an underwhelming release spot for me, personally. Middle of summer, I don't know.
The war.
The Tomorrow War. Hey, Far From Home did it.
Yeah.
I mean, $1 billion, right?
It did hit $1 billion.
Guys, it's the last Marvel movie.
How much?
God.
It was $1.2 billion. It's the highest grossing Spider-Man movie of all time.
The highest grossing Spider-Man movie of all time. You got to do it in character, bro. You got to stay on brand. Oh wait, my bad. That's my job. I'm J. Jonah Jameson.
You're J. Jonah Jameson. Just way more hair.
Fucking A. I will take that. Moving on to something that I genuinely give zero fucks about. Tom and Zendaya official. David, why are we talking about this and getting involved in people's personal lives?
Okay, so yes, this is an invasion of privacy, but it wasn't me that took the photos. I just get to sit here and enjoy the fact that this is another Spider-Man couple. And my only thing on this, you know, it seems like we don't know for sure. It seems like they're a couple now. I don't really know the details all that much about, like, you know, I think my girlfriend was telling me about, like, Zendaya was dating some guy from Euphoria, and I think, like, Tom Holland was dating some blonde girl. You know, there's been some drama behind it, I guess. I don't know, but it seems like Zendaya and Tom Holland have some sort of fling going on, and personally, I'm just excited to see it in action during the press tour if they're still together. Like, that'd be really cool if they, like, walk the red carpet together and stuff like that. It's just really cute. I like the idea that, and I feel like I loved Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone. They didn't, you know, stay together a long time, but they had such great chemistry. And I love the fact that there's an actual real life romance happening from these stars who have an in-movie romance. And I'm excited to see it maybe in fruition when it comes to the press tour in November, December. But yeah, it's a silly little story, but I just want to touch on it, tack it on to the Spider-Man news.
It's cool. I'm glad to see it. Like, they don't hate each other. So, but past that, like,
always a win.
Yeah, right. Like, they like each other. That's great. Let's let them be now, you know?
I kind of just imagine Jacob Batalon, like, texting Tom, like, hey, man, what are you doing, bud? I thought we were going to go play some tennis.
I thought we were going to Europe as two single guys.
Yes.
Oh, man. Real quick, David Nestor is in your YouTube comments. He's one of our friends from Ireland that spends a lot of time in the Direct's Discord channel.
Oh, cool. Yes.
I did not ask you to do that so he could prop me up in the comments, but hi, David. It's great to see you, man. He's one of our most loyal followers. It's great talking to this guy.
From awesome. Ireland?
He's in Ireland, yeah.
Terry McIver is also in Ireland. It is Terry, David, tell us what time it is over there in Ireland. I don't know if they have the same time zone or whatever, because again,
I don't know how many time zones Ireland is.
87,309.
Oh.
Back to the news really fast. Weekend box office report. David, who won the weekend?
So F9 won the weekend again. Unsurprising, there was no big release. The Purge came out, which me and my girlfriend we had tickets to go see, and then she's like, let's watch the trailer before we go. 2 hours before showtime, we watched the trailer.
Breaking news alert, it is 11 p.m. in Ireland.
Oh, David, thanks for standing up for us, buddy.
They are 6 hours ahead of me. 5 ahead of you in the Eastern time zone, you crazies.
Terry stays up real late sometimes. Anyway, yeah. Back to the plot. We watched the Purge trailer and we're like, that looks god awful. Let's stay home and not watch. We did not see the Purge. So that came out. Boss Baby also came out, and this is a funny stat. So I pulled this up from Eric Davis of Fandango and Rotten Tomatoes. So Universal, all 3 movies were Universal films. F9 brought in 24 million, Boss Baby 17 million, and The Purge 12.7 million. The Purge pretty underwhelming. I think Boss Baby was also, if I remember correctly, I think it's also going to go on Peacock. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah.
So they did do like a day and date thing with that one, I guess, because it's more of a kids movie, and I guess that was their strategy with that. It was interesting. So this is the first time one studio is at the top 3 spots in one weekend since Sony back in February of 2005, which obviously we're in weird times right now with COVID, so something strange like this would happen right about now.
Disney hasn't done it? How has Disney not done it?
It's impressive. The top 3 movies on a weekend is impressive. Disney would normally like space their stuff out. That's the issue. This isn't spaced out at all.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They swing for number 1 and only number 1.
Literally.
They'll do number 1 and then number 1 again is what they do.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, oh, we had number 1 and then we had another number 1 and then.
Yeah, 2019, they had like 6 or 7 movies that all hit $1 billion.
Yeah.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
So in 2005, it was Hitch, Boogeyman, and Are We There Yet? Were the top 3 at the box office that weekend in February of 2005. But so that's a pretty lackluster box office report. F9 still pushing through. The Purge did okay for what it is. Honestly, I feel like The Purge may have done better with some sort of like Netflix buyout or just going to Peacock. I don't know. That's just what I thought. I watched the trailer and I'm like, this looks stupid. I'm not going to go see this. But
the Forever Purge.
Also monster trucks.
Yeah, it looked bad. I saw the trailer and I was like, why were these movies ever good? Oh, yeah, murder porn. That's why. Kids, make sure your parents aren't watching murder porn.
And vice versa. Make sure your kids
definitely parents. If your kids are watching murder porn, you're terrible parents.
No, that's the whole reason they made this one. There's no plot anymore. Like if they make one after this, that's how I know they're out of ideas because they just made the Purge last forever now.
Yeah. Universal is.
What do you do after that?
Universal is one of those studios.
The Purge in space.
They love to milk their content, right? Like Universal. Yeah. We have F9. We have all these Minions, Despicable Me movies.
Whoa, when does that come out?
Oh, I don't know about the new one. I know there was
a bummer. Yeah, there's a new one coming out. It's like I think it's Young Gru. Like his rise to power. Like
wow, that still hasn't come out yet?
Yeah.
Dang.
I can't wait. I love those movies. Those are a pleasure, not even a guilty pleasure.
I think the one thing Universal's done right that they haven't like milked and drained is How to Train Your Dragon, which to me is my favorite animated movie. They're my favorite animated movies outside of Pixar, personally.
It's because it's more run by DreamWorks. It's not technically Universal.
True.
That'd be why.
Either way, they're kind of at their breaking point. I feel like if they make another one, then I'd feel like they're milking it.
Oh, I don't think they will.
After that one, one really felt like the end of a trilogy, and they said it was, and I'm hoping they keep it that way.
I'd be upset with that. Anyway,
it was so good. I don't even think I saw the first 2. I think I just went and saw the third one in theater.
What?
Like a baby. I can't remember, dude.
Oh, watch the other two prequels then.
I literally think I went and saw the third one basically dry and was just like, it's so much good, man. I can't even imagine what would happen if I heard you shoot all the stuff behind it. The dragon is so cute.
Dude, I love
all that in the movie theater.
I did. It was a very loud movie. That's why I like movie theaters, man. I do grab a lot of napkins. It's so loud that I can talk. I'm an exclaimer. So when something happens, I'll be like, holy shit. Like if it's too loud, I have to let it back out. There's just too much pressure in my head. So when it's in an IMAX for Black Widow, right now I'm like right edge of the theater, so it's about to blow my ears.
Yeah,
I'm not this ear's not ready. I might have to put a headphone in just to keep the peace. Back to the plot, David. Where are we at with the box office?
Yeah, so speaking of Black Widow, Thomas, so Box Office Pro is tracking Black Widow for a 80 million to 110 million domestic opening weekend gross. I just wrote an article for thedirect.com, kind of analyzing the lay of the land of the box office, kind of talking about some history of the MCU, where we're at right now when it comes to F9 and Godzilla vs. Kong, basically where we're at in this pandemic streaming world where the box office is a very fickle thing right now, I would say. Like, it's kind of unclear and unknown what it's going to do and happen. And this movie, it's of course coming out on Disney Plus's Premiere Access day and date on July 9th. You can pay $30 to watch it at home, which I know a lot of people are doing, especially a lot of international fans that don't have theaters open like we do here in the States now. So it's tracking, this is a really good number, 80 to 110 million. Like that's honestly a really good number. If it cracks 100, I would be really surprised, especially considering the Disney Plus, option. In my article, spoilers, go check it out if you want to on thedirect.com. I predicted it would make 95 million. And to me, that's still pretty aggressive. Especially when you consider that F9 only made 70. That would be 25 million more than F9. Obviously, it's a few weeks later. Maybe, who knows, more vaccines and theater. And one thing, too, theaters are reopening more. Less restrictions when it comes to capacity and things like that. The fact that Black Widow has a Disney Plus option, I'm sticking with 95 million because I think it's going to do really well. And here's why. It's the first Marvel movie in 2 years. People really want to go back out to the theater and are waiting for, the time to do it. For some people, it was F9. For a lot, I think maybe more people, it'll be Black Widow. And it's getting good reviews. The reviews are good on it. Like F9's reviews were kind of and people, I think, a lot of people are still very tentative and nervous to head back out to a theater. And if they don't know they're going to go see a good movie in the theater and $30 on Premiere Access, I feel like you're doing that if you have to, right?
See, it's steep for us because we're single for the most part, or, things of that nature. But if you have a family, dude, you're going to save so much money than taking, your
That's
2,
true.
3, 4, 5 kids to the theater. Even just one kid wants all the candy and popcorn. So,
right.
Like me,
like a UFC fight,
like
just you watching, then. But if you've got a group of people, then it's like your own mini movie theater.
Yeah,
I don't think
it could work either way.
That.
So I was going to ask you guys if you have any predictions. What do you think Black Widow will make? Do you think it'll do well? Kind of any of your projections or what you think about the box office heading into this weekend. John Ross.
I personally think it'll. And I hate saying this because David's the expert. I think it'll do worse than that. And I think the main reason for that is just because it's Black Widow, and not the character, but the movie itself. I think people are going to have a hard time kind of deciding how important they think this movie is to the greater MCU. Because I definitely am. I don't know. It's tough because with a movie like Black Widow, it's set in 2016, and that you know the fate of the main character.
Right.
And although they are going to introduce characters that we haven't seen before, and they're supposedly really likable, and they're going to show up elsewhere later, that also makes me think, okay, well, we kind of know their fate too. Then, so this movie kind of, if anything, it feels like a hero's tribute to Black Widow.
Yeah.
And because of that, I think general audiences are going to kind of just treat it as just a standard, like Mission Impossible, just a summer action movie. I don't think it's going to pull as many people in with the MCU brand as a movie like Spider-Man No Way Home or Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness did. And even looking at your article, comparing the opening weekends.
The one to point to.
Go ahead.
I was going to say the one to point to that always surprises me is Captain Marvel.
Yes, thank you. That's the one I was going to talk about. Was Captain Marvel is the most recent of those that you have on your list. And
I think it could be because she's a woman, you know, and there is a driving force behind that, where it's like a female-led superhero. There is some sort of like, there's like a draw to that, an audience for it that may not rush out to other movies. Is it the same in COVID? Well, you know, we'll see.
Exactly right. I mean, there's two sides to that though, because they also shoved Captain Marvel in between the two biggest movies of all time, and they ended the first one of those by making you feel like you had to see Captain Marvel in order to understand the second of those. So I think a lot of Captain Marvel's money came from the MCU brand and them literally ending Infinity War with that little Captain Marvel Easter egg saying, hey, Captain Marvel's going to come out. And Infinity War ended by calling Captain Marvel.
Right.
You should probably go see this
movie.
They
hyped it up.
They really hyped it up. Whereas if that movie would have come out like, let's say, you know, where Doctor Strange came out, you know, back in 2016, and I think it had a November release or something. You saw that, you know, that opening was only 85 million, like you said in your article. And that, I think, is a much more realistic expectation for a movie like Black Widow. And the only thing I would say is in its favor is that it's a character that people have been familiar with for like a decade now. And it's a character that's been consistently portrayed really well, and it's been really likable. I think they're really banking on the fact that it's Scarlett Johansson led than anything else. But I think people are going to have a lot harder of a time seeing the importance of this movie, as opposed to, it's like Captain Marvel, like you said, that movie felt like it was the most important movie at the time, you know?
Yeah. I will say, like recently the forecast that like the tracking of the movie went up like 13% from where they were initially predicting it. It seems like, you know, they break down a lot of Box Office Pro does a great job of like kind of like analyzing and kind of breaking down why and what. And they look at like social media, what's the word? Like interactions and things like that, like trailer views, just kind of like they somehow make buzz like a calculated like statistic where it's like, all right, how much buzz does the movie have? And it's trending really well. 95, I think, is aggressive. Like when I had to sit there, honestly, for a minute, I actually pulled the curtain behind a little bit. I had to like update the article because I wrote it a little bit before the updated tracking went out, and I was like, whoa, now it's tracking for the, you know, the ceiling being 110. That's crazy. In COVID with the Disney Plus day and date, like that'd be unreal. So I did adjust. I honestly feel like first Marvel movie in 2 years. Marvel MCU, that just brings people out to the theater, you know? That's one of the things. Yeah. It's Black Widow. Everyone knows Black Widow. I would say compared to like Doctor Strange, like Black Widow is she's been in so many movies. She's so set up, positive reviews. I think 95, even though the tracking says it could get 110, I still believe 95 is a bit aggressive, but I'm starting to think, especially after Cruella, where some people noticed, I don't know if I really agree based on looking at the numbers, but some people thought that Cruella did better in theaters and worse on Disney Plus than they expected. And that could be a sign too, where people do want to go out to the theaters more and more. Thomas, we're leaving you out here. What do you think of all this?
It's okay. I've been researching. I just want to point out that for John Ross's idea, that average would be somewhere around $50 million for an opening weekend for the Mission Impossible correlation. The highest grossing opening weekend is 61 million.
That's surprising.
Okay.
Yeah. Here it is. 46,761. Yeah, I thought they were going to be much higher. Their overall is like crazy good comparatively to what you'd think. The highest grossing is 787 million worldwide. So not bad at all in terms of overall. Like, could that be Black Widow's financial ceiling? Maybe. If it's a good movie, could be its financial minimum.
Okay, well, there's a good question asked then. So with the Rotten Tomato score we have for it now being at an 84, 86%, does that sound like a movie that would make more than 70 million on opening weekend?
Black Widow, I think, will make definitely more than 70 million.
Okay.
I think there's more hype around it than F9. In all honesty.
Yeah.
The thing is, so here's the thing, guys. Like these are domestic numbers we're talking. F9, Fast and Furious kills overseas and in China.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so do all these movies. But like it's still doing great. I think it's almost at like half a billion right now worldwide. Like MCU, I feel like for people in the States, domestic, United States and Canada, it's definitely going to get more than F9. I don't remember what my projection was before the tracking updated, and it looks like it's going to do better than we initially thought. I believe it was maybe around 85, and that's where I was really comfortable with that number. And at the time, that was kind of aggressive. And now I'll tell you, I almost went 100, but I'm like, no, I think it's going to get right under.
Down to that 95.
Yeah, 95. I like the 95, and even then, I'm like shaky because it's like, really, is it going to be 95 million? I will be ecstatic with 95 million. It's honestly wishful thinking, but hey, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I'll be contributing. I'll be there Thursday night. I can't wait.
Just bought my IMAX tickets.
Love it.
Cannot wait, my dude.
It's been too long.
It's been fun. And here's the thing. So, like, here's my real thoughts on that. I don't have a number. If I'm going to pick one, I'm picking 91 million because why not? 91. Shout out Richard Donner for making it to 91. I was born in 1991. Why not? We're going with 91. With the hype that the MCU in general has been getting from Disney Plus alone. Now, granted, the issue we got a thing about is like a lot of us are kind of in a sound bubble. I do know a lot of people who are like, I don't watch that shit.
Yeah, that's another.
So
good
like
we're on that end of the spectrum.
We're on that end. We're like so deep in it. Like everyone's talking about it.
Yeah,
and then it's like no one's really talking about it outside of us, mate. So we do have to keep that in mind. But overall, like the MCU hype has been getting better and more. And some people who are like casual fans, like I'm not watching the Disney Plus show. I'll watch the movies. And it's like, well, that's losing out on your favorite thing, which is character.
That's the thing too. I know a lot of people, well, maybe not a lot of people, but some people where it's like, I'm not going to sit down and watch these Disney Plus shows, but I am going to go out to a theater and watch a blockbuster for a couple hours.
Yeah.
And we'll see. Like, what's fun to me, honestly, guys, like it was great writing this article and talking with you two. I'm excited to see how it does and then project onto Shang-Chi and the rest of the year.
That one is going to be an oddball for sure.
Truly an oddball. This one's hard to gauge, and this one's still very like with the Disney Plus factor, it's annoying. It's really annoying with the Disney Plus thing because it's like it's so hard to like gauge right now. There's like no history of this pretty much, and there's nothing to like weigh it against because it's hard to. It's honestly just subjective if you think because like Godzilla versus Kong, right? Like, it's like, all right, how many people are watching HBO Max and how many people are not watching at all? And how many don't want to go out to a theater because of COVID or how many just like, how much of it is COVID? How much of it is just preference? Like, it's so hard right now. But I think as time goes on, it'll get easier and easier. And I can't wait to predict that No Way Home will make 1 billion one day.
It has to. It has to. There's no way it won't.
I certainly hope so.
Don't say shit like that.
I'm sticking to it, man. That movie is going to do better than Far From Home. There's no way it can't.
It's the December release date. It depends on the state of the world because obviously that's a global number.
Are we even gonna be here, man?
I hope we will.
Good
after
luck,
that, I'm
Laura
good.
Ward.
Take me away after that movie, but I just need to get there.
Don't listen. That movie started in like 2 years from now, so like for real.
Yeah. The Tomorrow War was set
it's like
2022, right?
2022. Yeah, I was thinking it was 2023. Yeah, 2022.
Yeah, it started like a year from now. It was crazy.
And the advancement in technology it starts in 2022 and then it skips to 2020. It skips ahead a year after like the first landing.
Yeah.
And it gives you like a time loop. They did a montage thing and it's dope.
It's funny. It's supposed to be in the future, but it's like Not at all. Not at all.
It's very strange how they do it.
The rest of it's in the future.
It's the rest of it jumps like 30 years. Yeah. But.
Which also I could only think in my head. I was like, 2050. Just
Loki.
like Loki.
Yeah.
Clearly 2050 is not a great year to be alive there, loves. Seems like we're going to be in some real you know what I'm saying? Moving on. Star Wars envisions an anime future. I forgot to load the thing, but I'm going to load the thing because this is chef's kiss beautiful. I know we have some pictures to show. David, at the end of your news part, I want to know where this ranks in your hype level. And John Ross, obviously.
Okay. Yeah, guys. So I kind of just laid out like all of the info we have on this. They presented a YouTube video. It's fairly long, or maybe like 5 minutes. I don't know. It's good though to kind of get an idea. So this is the official description. I thought it would be a good thing to read out here. Presenting all new creative takes on the galaxy far, far away, Star Wars Visions will be a series of animated short films celebrating Star Wars through the lens of the world's best anime creators. The anthology collection will bring 10 fantastic visions from several of the leading Japanese anime studios, offering a fresh and diverse cultural perspective to Star Wars. Sign me up. None of the anthology stories are canon, which I actually am a big fan of because they have their own sandbox to play in, right? It's like a legend story where it doesn't actually have to affect anything. You have to like really think about it forever and how this and that line up, but you can just have fun with whatever you're doing. It's premiering on Disney Plus exclusively September 22nd, and all 10 will reportedly come out at the same time, which I say, yes, I'm a big fan of that. I really like that they're dropping all at the same time. This is totally something where I would like to watch maybe all of them at the same time or just bounce around, It's like each episode's a brand new thing. What's cool about this whole little experiment Lucasfilm and Disney are doing is that they're bringing in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different studios, anime studios to do different episodes, which is very unique. You'd think they just would hire one studio to do all the episodes because, if you guys, I watch a little bit of anime. I have some friends that are really into it, but like the art and the animation can actually vary a lot from studio to studio. And a lot of people have their preferences. I actually wasn't familiar. Trigger is, I think, the most well-known. And I listed out all the titles, but I'm just going to butcher all of the studio names. But one thing I wanted to point out was Sam Hargrave from thedirect.com writes this. In a clever twist on the classic Luke and Leia dynamic, Trigger's The Twins, an episode coming out, will center around a set of dark side twins showing a brother going to great lengths to save his sister. Coming to the same studio, The Elder will follow the classic Master and Padawan dynamic. Where this ranks, as Thomas asks, this is very high on my Star Wars list right now. I love the idea that it's not canon, that they're individual stories. Anime and Star Wars looks fantastic together. It's beautiful. Lightsabers in anime is it's so cool. There's been fan-made stuff over the years. There's a fan-made Phantom Menace or
Revenge of the Sith?
Revenge of the Sith. Sorry, yeah. Revenge of the Sith fight and some others where it's super cool. It just looks amazing. I love the idea. Yeah.
Lucasfilm, I think, has even done some they have these Star Wars shorts and they will recreate and animate and use the dialogue from the movies. I've seen in Empire Strikes Back, it's called the Duel on Bespin.
Yeah.
And it's that whole sequence, but shortened into 3 minutes, and it's all animated, and it gets to a certain point, and then they stop, and it says, "Want to see more? Watch the movie." And I'm like, A, brilliant. B, can I get an entire 1 through 6 in animation?
Yeah.
But not Clone Wars animation, that animation, what they were doing, kids cartoon, kids comic book animation. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
Do we want to go ahead and just watch watch the thing?
You want to watch the whole thing?
I want to watch some of it because
it's a lot of
they're going to talk.
talking.
I know.
I don't want to get taken down as my issue.
Well, it'll be able to go back up.
Star Wars Visions.
It's important to note, ladies and gentlemen, that we do not own the Star Wars. We just love the Star Wars, and we want to help promote the Star Wars for free because they have yet to pay us for sponsorship. It'll come. It's coming one day. Back to the plot. So really, I really wanted to play this so that we can at least see some of the animation styles and how different they are.
Yeah.
My favorite of everything is this one that we've already seen, this animation style. They have like it looks like the Darksaber lightsaber and
like,
how it's designed and shaped.
Yeah. Well, it's cool because like a lot of anime,
it seems to be the duel, and it looks like, and that's from Kamikaze Duga or Dauga, not sure.
So cool. I love the idea of like Marvel, Star Wars, DC just doing these individual creative like little stories. Like it doesn't have to be this big. Like I think we've gotten so hung up on like we love it, right? Like universes and live action world building where it's like just give me these individual stories by creators, where they just can do their own thing. They can play in their own sandbox.
Yeah. It's important to note one of the people, they say that it's a Star Wars rock opera film. And it's important to note that each of these are basically, most people are like, it's an episode. It's a short film. It's going to be 20 to 30 minutes, most likely, is my guess. And it's going to be a straight up short film that's just its own singular story. One of them is about a robot and he looks like Astro Boy a little bit. And then they have a squirrel/rabbit chick. So, and that comes from Geno Studio. It's it looks like the Elder might be the one with the animation that I like the most. Yeah, the Elder. Excited to see that, and it's supposed to be that's the one I'm probably the most excited for because I saw the design. This one right here, just the red samurai sabers. Highly excited for this. I love that they're all coming out together all at the same time. I'm not that big into anime. I love Dragon Ball Z. I love the art more than anything. Like I love the way it looks. I'm just not always as hooked on the stories. If they keep giving us this, like more of this, please. And I don't know, like, because we're talking and we love Star Wars and we love Marvel, I'm going to just say Avengers, the Avengers anime, I don't remember what it's called off the top of my head at this moment, on Disney Plus is absolutely amazing.
You're talking about What If?
No. I'm talking about an actual Japanese anime that is on Disney Plus. It is it Marvel Future Avengers? That's the name of it. It's a Japanese superhero anime television series produced by Madhouse and Walt Disney Japan, based on the comics, and it looks amazing. And the stories are great through and through. You focus more on the three main characters that are originally created to go in the show, and they have superpowers. But it has tons of Marvel lore. John Ross, what are your thoughts on Star Wars Visions and all the goodness?
Sorry, I'm looking up this Future Avengers thing. I want to check this out. I hadn't heard about that.
Oh, really? I happened to see it pop up and found it randomly.
Oh, yeah.
So while you're looking it up.
Man, okay. Yeah, 2017 to 2018. 2 seasons. Oh, awesome. Now I have something to watch.
Well, really fast. Happy birthday to Kate Chatwell in the comments.
Hey, happy birthday, Gary. Happy birthday. That's awesome.
I hope that your birthday was full of love and chocolate. Chocolate candies.
These guys.
I don't know why I became Forrest Gump. I'm very sorry. John Ross, back to the plot.
I think Visions is a really cool original idea. And the reason I thought you were talking about What If is because it reminds me so much of that. But I think the biggest favor they could have done for themselves here is to just straight up say it's not canon right off the bat.
Yes.
So that way we can just enjoy it for what it is and not try to, rack our brains trying to connect it to everything. But just to say, like, this is just a different interpretation. It's not connected to what we've been doing, but here's a different take, something new, something fresh, something other people will enjoy that's kind of really outside this mold they've been creating at Lucasfilm for so many years, because you hear so much about the Jedi history, and you know, they talk about, you know, that a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, but you really only follow one timeline for one blurb of time, and you don't really get a taste of all the other possibilities with, you know, the source material like that. So to get something like Star Wars Visions and to have it adapted into anime is so cool, because you really, I mean, you have unlimited, untapped potential there to really just kind of take anything you want and run with it. So I'm really not the biggest Star Wars fan, just because I have nothing against it. It's just not something I can get into. The Mandalorian has definitely kind of changed my mind on that recently, but seeing they're doing something like this is really cool, because you get to see fresh ideas really kind of well thought out and, you know, taken to new levels without any of the consequence of trying to connect it to everything else that already exists, as well as everything else they still plan on doing.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. And something about Star Wars I've always thought what makes it so palatable or popular, I guess, is that the IP, the idea of Star Wars, the Force, the Jedi, lightsabers, the Sith, the planets, the ships, it's so cool, in my opinion. Like, it's just so fundamentally cool. Like, there's so many things out there, so many sci-fi books and movies and shows, and it's like, it's just not that cool. Star Wars is just fundamentally cool. Like, the idea of it and kind of the lore behind it, and just taking those, you know, the basis of what Star Wars is with those kind of principles and doing whatever you want with it is kind of a dream come true. And I'm really excited to see. And that's the thing too, like, some of these may be like okay and some may be phenomenal. That's what I think is interesting too, is because they're all by different studios. I love how creative forward it is. You know, it's like, here, creators, you can do one story, like, and make it your story. I love that, because it should, you know, that what should happen is they should all be very good, considering only one studio is working on either one or two of these stories. That means they have a lot of time to work on these. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know if they've said like run times. I wouldn't be surprised if some of these are like an hour long.
Oh God, I hope so, man.
That'd be really
100%. Cool. Like, if we get 10-hour anime episodes, like,
that'd be crazy. One time too.
Yeah. Really quick before we jump off this topic, Terry is in the comments here. Star Wars Visions reminds him of Batman Gotham Knight, where several Japanese anime studios get to tell their own versions of the story, which is interesting. I did not know that's what Gotham Knight was. It's a great film. I've seen it. I just didn't realize it was that. Visions looks fantastic, regardless of canon / non-canon. We get to play with Star Wars. Fans have been doing that for a long time. Real hard promotion segue. Nerd Culture's own Travis Troller. You've seen him. He's filled in for David 1 week when he had way too many things going on, and I did not. Travis Troller came on here, and we just we shot the lightsaber. We shot the plasma saber. What the hell are they called? We shot the blasters. Clearly, I am missing like a stormtrooper on that reference. His production company, Lasting Light Media, they just released The Broken Wills, Star Wars, a fan film on YouTube. Terry's going to post it in the comments because he's always on point, and it blows my effing mind. Back to the comments. There's a few anime Star Wars fan videos on YouTube that look amazing. He's interested in seeing where the professional studios take us and the galaxy far, far away. I can't wait to make a Star Wars podcast. I'm just
the
saying.
Fighting is going to be really interesting because like there's like kind of specific there's a specific look to a lot of anime shows, and that in Star Wars can be really cool, especially with the Force. Oftentimes in anime, you see everything, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Right. We're gonna see the Force. You know what I mean? Like they like to show it. They love to animate it and really make it alive.
This, for whatever reason, to me just feels like the Force, like the illumination around her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's kind of glowing a little bit.
She's glowing. Her bike is glowing. And
interesting.
It's so beautiful.
Some of these
there's
so
a Star Destroyer in the back.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, this is gonna be so cool.
Wow. Oh wow! Oh wow! There's a whole ship back there.
There's a whole ship back there, and then in this one, this is set. It seems
totally
to be
different art, by the way. Like totally different studio right here. You can tell, like
right off the bat. Yeah.
This one looks like maybe the Twins one, maybe not. And this one here looks like it potentially could be the same story.
That was like a video game
because of the way. Both of these look like a video game to me.
How did they get an X-wing fighter nose first into the sand like that and not destroy it?
Looks like Tatooine-ish.
They've got the magic in them. Maybe they call it Force magic with him. There is an entire episode called Tatooine Rhapsody, and I'm just gonna go ahead and say, put me on it. I'll sing some shit. What were you gonna say, David?
That distracted me.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, that was what it was gonna be. It was. I wonder, like, if they'll really play with current or previously seen Star Wars characters and like alter them, kind of like What If, because we saw what looked like possibly Jabba, and I think even also Boba, right? So it's like, do they have those characters? There's like a small like Mandalorian helmet that looks like Boba Fett's helmet at some point.
They all look like Boba Fett's helmet.
True.
There was one girl wielding the double red sabers that looked like Ventress too.
True.
So, I mean, I'm sure that's not like a one-off thing they only do for one character, but it looked reminiscent of it at least.
There's a sect of characters that have that specific oval eye shape. Bo-Katan, whatever. I always forget how to say it. She actually has like more angular, and it's like a blend between the circles and just the straight line, so that they can evoke the face of an owl.
I never realized that. I mean, I knew the owl thing, but I never knew that's what they do with the eyes. That's so cool.
I'm a little bit of obsessed with the Star Wars. Jack and I have David threw us into a Twitter message group, and it's just Star Wars for days. It's all we talk about in there.
Jack Hughes.
Jack Hughes. Oh, what a
Hughes.
Star Wars legend.
Yeah.
We love Jack Hughes over here.
Reckless Rebellion coming to your ears 2021 day. Lasting Light Media, Star Wars The Broken Wills. The YouTube link is in the comments. So head on over to our Facebook page for that. It's in the comments on our Facebook page. Can I copy this? I can't. Bummer. Any more on the Star Wars? Because I could literally just go on a diatribe if we wanted to.
I'm excited.
Star Wars. We talk Star Wars. Now it's Knives Out. Knives Out 2 cast is stacked. And I got one question. How are they funding this?
Yeah. I have that same question. Like, so obviously we talked about this a while ago, Thomas, that Netflix bought the rights for Knives Out 2 and 3. So these are Netflix original movies now. They'll have probably some sort of theatrical releases, at the very least in a couple of those Netflix owned theaters, just to make them eligible for Oscars. But let me just run through this cast. Daniel Craig, he's the only reprising character as Detective, how do you even say his name? Benoit Blanc.
Whoa. I got this, Mike. Detective Benoit Blanc.
There it is.
There it is.
There it is. Twang on it.
Benoit Blanc. Daniel Craig's back. His best character of his career. Throw it out there.
Whoa. That's a hot take, man.
I actually do that. I think this character is totally. I don't like his Bond. I don't know why. It's not that I don't like his Bond. That was a hot take that I just dropped. I just don't think it's. I don't know. There's something about his Bond that I'm like, maybe it's just like too stoic at times, and I'm like, okay like
it does feel almost too modern at certain points. his James Bond films. Yeah,
I don't mind that in the films. It's just he's at times too stoic, and it just doesn't seem to fit in with where movies have gone. So it feels kind of dated to me.
It doesn't fit in with the movies.
Anyways, David, continue. Sorry.
Dave Bautista, Drax himself, Edward Norton, Hulk himself, Janelle Monáe, Catherine Hahn, Agatha all along, which is like, come on, if it's not Catherine Hahn's character at the end that did
she's the red herring. She's the red herring that they're throwing in there. I guarantee it. No way with how obvious of the villain she was in WandaVision, there's no way she could also.
Her odds have to be.
Have you seen her in anything else? She's literally she's the best friend.
Or if you've seen Parks and Rec, she's just flat out hilarious. Step Brothers.
Love me some
man,
Parks
she can
and Rec.
do it all. She can do it all.
Stay golden, pony boy. It's slippery. Something's happening. Anyways, that's a little date for you kids. Continue, David. We were at Catherine Hahn,
Leslie Odom Jr., Kate Hudson, Madeline Klein, Jessica Henwick, Jada Pinkett Smith, and of course, Pinkett Smith. Sorry, excuse me. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Last one, Ethan Hawke, which was just some weird timeline stuff here. He was just filming Moon Knight. And now he's filming Knives Out 2, which I find very interesting with like just kind of the timeline of it all.
It was real Moon Knives Out 2 for him.
Yeah. And they're now filming in Greece. Ryan Johnson released a photo of like a camera in Greece. What a place to film it. What a place for it to be set. It's going to be awesome. I honestly I gotta say, I loved the first film. My girlfriend, it's like her favorite film, like point blank. She loved it. And I really like the cast is just so loaded. I couldn't be more excited. The one thing that's kind of deterring me is like, I want to go out to a theater and watch it. You know, I don't want to have to sit at home and watch it. So, John Ross, you saw this casting, this crazy cast. What do you think of it all?
I think looking back at the first one, you remember seeing the cast for that one, and you're like, whoa, Jamie Lee Curtis, you got Chris Evans, the cast of the first one was pretty stacked. When I heard they were making a sequel, I had no idea what they were going to do, because I was like, well, are they going to bring back that whole cast? Are they going to have the budget for it? And then I see all these big, and it all happened, a lot of this happened within a week or two. These names kept getting added to this movie, and you had Batista, and first of all, there's 3 or 4 MCU stars in there, which is awesome. But I had to look up Leslie Odom Jr. I'm not really familiar with his work, but it seems like they're throwing in some names that are less familiar.
Yeah.
But there's only a couple of them. The rest of them are huge. And I'm really excited because the first one was so well done that it immediately became one of my favorite films. Watching that in the theater and being along for that ride was a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's perfect too, how they are just it's still the detective, but it's a whole new case.
Exactly. That's what I was afraid of. I was like, I don't want them to build on that family anymore, because I feel like we got everything we needed. Mm-hmm. But then when I realized, no, it's literally just Daniel Craig in a whole new environment. These set photos where they're on that beach, it actually reminds me of that Netflix movie with Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston, Murder Mystery. And I was like, if it's anything like that, I know I'll enjoy it, because that movie was great. But everything about this is really exciting so far. I think that it's going to do really well just for the list of names on it. You know?
And really well. It's a Netflix movie, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We'll all be heading to Netflix.
David Nestor, the guy I shot out earlier, he said Dave Bautista can give a really serious performance in Army of the Dead. That's true. Bautista is very versatile. And even though he's kind of dumb, in my opinion, when he talks to people, he says so many things he shouldn't say. That does not take away from his acting ability. I think he does not get enough credit as an actor, because when he has to turn it on, he turns it on and he shows up big.
Mm-hmm. Thomas, do you have anything else on this one?
Absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned Dave Bautista, because this is I love The Rock. but with The Rock, you're getting The Rock.
Yeah.
I am not mad about that.
Right. That's
With
a
John,
great comparison.
with John Cena, right now, you're just getting like old school comedic, hilarious John Cena, which I'm okay with. That's my favorite John Cena. He's hilarious. The whole butt chugging and blockers, comedy gold. Like, and you know, the trailer of Suicide Squad, starfish. Is that supposed to be the anus supposed to look like a starfish? Is there any correlation? No, not related to anus. Like gold. Dave Bautista can do that same shtick. He can do the dramatic, very serious stuff on the level that The Rock can do, bring the emotion in the same way The Rock can do. I truly think Dave Bautista is the most versatile actor of that wrestling has so far presented. Because he, to be fair, I'm going to have to retract what I just said. Dave Bautista is no longer a former wrestler. He's an actor. And he stands by it. And that's, I think,
you're right.
He's made that jump. And I think he's not going to be going back to wrestling at this point.
Why would he? Why would he?
Well, it's not even just that. Like, it's his age. He's getting up there in age. But, like, the last couple times he's gone back, he didn't get what he was supposed to be getting. So, it's like, okay.
Thomas, we have semi-sweet breaking news happening right now. Sound the alarm.
Do we want to do? Is it what's in the private chat here?
Yeah, the first one.
The first one is the one, or the second one? Because the second one we can save till our next.
Save the second. Do the first one right now.
Okay. Give me 1 sec. Let me get that. Breaking news alert!
So, a long time ago on this show, Matt Rimke was of the Direct podcast. Go check it out. They just posted the Black Widow primer, I think, today. Very good. Friends of the show. He pointed out, this was over an hour ago. Yo, gotta talk about Wolverine. Breaking news. Posted pick with Feige just now and pick with Claus earlier today. So, very weird, cryptic things happening here. Hugh Jackman has, I think, it was like a Boss Logic photo of some Wolverine claws. He posted that on his story, and then he randomly posts a photo of him and Kevin Feige from seemingly years ago together smiling. And now everyone's freaking out, wondering, is he going to be back as Wolverine? What does this mean? My prediction, my thoughts, this could mean possibly it's either nothing or it's a cameo in No Way Home or Multiverse of Madness, possibly. That's where my head goes, because I think if there's ever going to be a cameo situation like this, it would be in maybe one of those movies, or it could just mean absolutely nothing, you know. But what is he doing? Why is he doing this? I don't know.
Ruining it. If it's a cameo, I don't want to know about it.
Yeah.
But if he...
Here's what I hope it is.
It'll be really cool. No, go ahead, Thomas.
Oh, no, you go ahead, because we're probably on the same track.
I was thinking that maybe Hugh Jackman is going to be brought on to produce the next Wolverine projects in some sense. Because if there's anyone you want to consult for the role of Wolverine, talk to the guy who brought in people to the movie theaters for over a decade. I mean, even movies as bad as X-Men Origins Wolverine, I still watch it because Hugh Jackman kills it. You know?
Mm-hmm.
He owned that role. And if anyone's going to do it, they should be talking to Hugh Jackman about it.
Yeah. I like that a lot. That's a good idea. Especially now that, you know, with After the Greatest Showman, you know, that was his movie, right? Like, I feel like he's kind of moving into that, like, producer role. I'd love to see it. That'd be really – that's a really cool idea. Maybe. See, I don't know. It's such a weird thing. Like,
it's definitely a weird thing because he's already said so many times he's not going to come back.
And this is just incredibly cryptic. Thomas, any thoughts on this one?
I just went to look at his producer credits, actually. And he was a producer on X-Men Origins Wolverine. And that's, I mean, he's got like 8 other things, but there's no other things that you were just saying. And I thought he would have been a producer on the other later stuff.
That's surprising.
Yeah, he's not listed as He's not listed on it as the Greatest Showman for sure. What are my thoughts on the Jackman of it all? I thought John Ross was going to go the same place I did, and he went into an entirely new place, and I love it even fucking more. I actually like it more than what I was going to say. I'm hoping that they're starting to get the ball rolling on a Deadpool situation, and he's going to come into the MCU with Deadpool. What if it's all three? He has a cameo, which leads to Deadpool. Like, what if the cameo is him with Deadpool, brings Deadpool into the MCU, and is like, you know what? Just fucking stay here.
he drops him in the MCU and leaves him there.
Drops him and then leaves. Like, how about that?
Like, your problem now.
Could you exactly? Like, could you imagine? Like,
because Wolverine thing.
You know what? That's a great
what if Deadpool's
point.
a Nexus character? A Nexus being so like, there's only one of him, and it's like, no, you know what? You don't have a problem anymore.
Dude, that's actually a really great thought, because in Deadpool 1 and 2. He's always talking about Wolverine, and specifically Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. And the second Deadpool starts with a shot of a Wolverine toy, doesn't it? Of him, like, his death scene from Logan or something. But it's somewhere in that opening sequence. But he's referenced him, but Hugh Jackman's never showed up in one of the movies.
You're right, yeah.
So maybe for Deadpool 3, they also tack on an actual Hugh Jackman cameo. That'd would be nice. Really cool. I would like that.
That would be really cool. Yeah, and I like how they took the obsession for Spider-Man that Deadpool has and turned it into a Hugh Jackman obsession, which makes it even like it just adds into the character's bit even more. But I would love it if we because I want it all. I want a cameo. I want it to be connected to Deadpool somehow, and then I want Hugh Jackman to produce and come on to produce Wolverine, like be a part of that production. I mean. I'm looking at his credits here. He's not yet a director, so
no, not directed anything.
Maybe this is his start, man. Maybe not. He I don't think he wants to direct. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna be right back. We're gonna take a brief ad break. Then after that, we're gonna come back and we're gonna discuss our favorite films made by Richard Donner, who again passed away today at the ripe young age of 91. Only the good die young. So I'm going to live forever. We'll be right back.
J. Bauer Art has the graphic design skills you need to develop your next logo and at an affordable price. But he's not just a one-trick pony. Follow J. Bauer Art on social media to interact during live paintings and see all of his previous artwork, which you can buy exclusively at jbauerartshop.com. Not only is he an artist, this beautiful son of a blue brings you the Back Talk with Bauer podcast every week with unique guests, and every month he hosts a special Back Talk with Friends episode that can only be described as chaotic and hilarious. Need a video intro or commercial? J. Bauer Art has you covered. For all of this and more, follow J. Bauer Art on social media. That's JBAUERART. Check out jbauerart.com for a full portfolio and jbauerartshop.com to buy that special painting for you and your loved ones.
We are a touring acoustic duo crashing kitchens around the country. We go from house to house every Friday night and we create music, we create food, a good time, we stream it live and we do it for free. So now we're just really kind of like trying to develop it and build a community group that people believe in, then they'll help us. So we played from our rehearsal room, we played from the bathroom, thankfully that didn't catch on.
I probably played guitar in my room, not for anyone, in front of anyone, nobody heard, for probably about 10 years.
And then one Friday night, we played from the kitchen. It's the main place people want to be. It's where the food is, it's where the drink is, it's where the best lighting is. You can go to any party and I guarantee you, the kitchen is going to be popping.
Our ultimate goal, I think, would be to crash kitchens every Friday all around the world.
Welcome, Glasscock Park, to this glorious day.
Today is your lucky day. We got some great stuff. This is Glasscock Park.
Marvelous.
Thank you.
Come on, let's go, let's go. I don't have all day, people.
Now, it's time.
Tell your friends, huh?
Tell your friends that LightsThunderAction is back from the break. Also, important note: we didn't mention this. It's something that we missed. Star Wars Visions is giving me hope for my 30th birthday because it comes out September 22nd, I believe, is the slated date for that.
Yep.
So only, what is that? 9 days before my 30th birthday. Numbers are stupid. Numbers are stupid, but I love numbers. As we mentioned at the top of the show and the right before the break, we are going to discuss some of our favorite Richard Donner films. We've got his IMDb page up. We kind of threw this in last minute because we got news right before we started. David, get us ready. I think there's some news you have for us.
A little. Is
it a breaking news quote?
It's not that breaking. I mean, it's interesting because it's from Kevin Feige, obviously the Marvel CCO. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but one thing I wanted to point out is that he says that he basically just wrote a little letter that he tweeted out, or that I think Marvel Studios tweeted out specifically, kind of like paying his tributes to the Donner family, Richard Donner, and also interesting here. I wanted to point out, he says, Richard and Lauren Donner became mentors during my early career and key supporters throughout the birth of the MCU. So really cool that it seems like Richard Donner had something to do with the MCU in some form or fashion as a mentor. And that's, we as MCU fans, Marvel fans, like practically idolize Kevin Feige, or at least maybe not idolize, but like put him on this like pedestal of like producer greatness and like, oh my gosh, this guy can do no wrong. Like in Feige we trust. And the fact that, he attributes the Donners as mentors towards him, that just shows, one, how great of a filmmaker and a visionary he was, but also how willing he was to help the next generation and to, support creativity and movie greatness, really. Because, I mean, a lot of people do attribute Richard Donner to, like, creating, like, something bigger than just a movie, right? Like, taking something and making it kind of bigger than a movie, which is really cool. And it's really cool that Kevin Feige had a personal relationship with him and his family. So that's just a little something that just came out. They just put that out maybe like 15 minutes ago.
And we were live, so that qualified as the breaking news.
Yeah.
I like using the breaking news klaxon, man. I love it so much. I thought about throwing one in there because I saw you wrote the article about working with Lucasfilm from Patty Jenkins, but we don't need to go down that plot hole. So let's just go ahead and start off with some of the films that you've seen that he directed.
So
yeah, we'll start with you, Dave, if you're prepped.
I'm not prepped, but obviously Superman. That's I've never seen the Goonies. Don't shoot. But I've never seen the Goonies. I don't know why I never saw it, but I never have. I don't know the IMDb page. Yes,
we're about to lose so many fans because I've not seen it all the way through.
Oh, really?
What?
I know, man. I get it all the time. Trust me, that's why I was just like, David, we're about to lose a lot of fans right now. Because I've seen some of it. I'm just, most of the times, like, oh, let's put on the Goonies on this school bus trip. And I'm like, yeah, I want to watch a movie for the first time on a 6-inch TV 45 feet away. That's exactly how I want to enjoy my movie. So that's the only times I've ever seen it, or it'll come on TV, and I've never started it all the way through. I think Terry's going to disown us in the comments, if I'm being honest.
He said he's seen it enough times for all of you guys. So
yeah.
Hey, man, I've seen
that's
enough
a great
Star
movie.
Wars.
You want to see Josh Brolin in his prime? Turn on the Goonies, man.
I don't think there was enough.
So read off some of them, Thomas. Read off some of his filmography.
So I'll just start with his film, and I'm going to start in 1976 because that's where it's easier to like scroll through. Because a lot of these movies I've never heard of. Apparently, there was a TV series called The Sixth Sense, and he directed an episode called The House That Cried Murder. That was a random find. That sounds amazing. I'm going to go watch that later. The Omen in 1976. He followed that up with Superman 1978. 1980, the Superman 2 movie came out. He's technically uncredited for the theatrical cut because they murdered it so bad. He said, "Don't put my name on that." In much more legal terms, I suppose. Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut, is where he does have his crediting for it. Scrolling up, The Toy, Lady Hawk, The Goonies, Cyndi Lauper, The Goonies Are Good Enough, the video short, and part 2 of that in 1985. Lethal Weapon 1, Scrooged, Lethal Weapon 2, Two-Fisted Tales, Radio Flyer, Lethal Weapon 3, Sting featuring Eric Clapton, It Was Probably Me. Holy shit, that is awesome. Okay. Sorry. Tales of the Crypt, 3 episodes, Showdown, The Ventriloquist Dummy. Oh, God, he fucking murdered my life. Dig That Cat, He's Real Gone. What a title. I'm just going to be honest with you. The Best of Sting, Fields of Gold, 1984. Okay, he must have loved Sting. Assassins, Conspiracy Theory, Lethal Weapon 4, Timeline, and 16 Blocks was his last movie he directed in 2006 with Bruce Willis and an actor that I can't remember his name. Of course, Yassine Bey, I believe, played Eddie Bunker. That is his listography of the hits that I could find. Hold up. Here we go, kids. This is what we're looking for. He directed 3 episodes of The Wild Wild West in 1966. You know that there was a movie called The Wild Wild West. You know, there was a song too by good old Will Smith. Will Smith. We got there. Big Willie. Get Smart. He directed 2 episodes of that in 1965. You'll also know that became a movie later on. The Fugitive, 2 episodes in 1966, became a thing. Perry Mason, a lawyer show, big hit. 3 episodes of that, 64 to 65. 3 episodes of Gilligan's Island. The Man from Uncle David. I believe you've seen that movie.
Oh, that movie.
Love that movie. He directed 4 episodes of that. I'm glad
the show.
6 episodes of The Twilight Zone. Fuck yeah. There's no censor needed for that. The Twilight Zone is my mind. A lot of what ifs. The 11th Hour, that just sounds scary. Sam Benedict, 6 episodes. That was 6 episodes of that TV series. I'm going down. I'm in 1961. He started filming. He started directing at 30 years old. In the same year my father was born. That's his career.
It's unreal.
As a director, man.
Yeah,
like,
and I mean the fact that he did some pretty he put his stamp on Hollywood, especially and superhero movies, specifically with Superman.
Holy titballs! He executive producer of X-Men and X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So he did work directly with Kevin Feige there too, because Feige was a
that seems to be where the connection is, right?
Any Given Sunday, arguably the greatest football movie of all time. I will argue differently, but whatever. Sorry. He executive produced that. I love football. Sorry, David. Back to the plot.
I really, just some, my favorite movies I've seen of his, obviously the original Superman. I really want to check out Superman 2, the Donner cut. I've never seen that.
Same.
I don't know where you would find that, but I want to check it out. Scrooged. I really like Scrooged.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't have thought he had directed that for whatever reason. but that I really like that movie. I honestly might like that. That might be my favorite Richard Donner movie, honestly. Because Superman.
Did we all just come to a unanimous agreement right off the bat?
With Scrooged?
Yeah, because that's my number one for sure. When I saw that, that's when I said, oh, we got to change this entire... We were going to do Superman. Behind the scenes. Welcome to Behind the Scenes with LightsThunderAction. LTA BTS. I was like... all I said was, hey, we got to change this because we were going to do Superman. And it was because of Scrooged. And John Ross was like, oh my God, yeah, I think that. And now David's saying that it's his favorite. Did we all just...
Well, you guys haven't seen the actual number one on the list, Goonies.
True.
Okay. So
I have
we did not come to it.
Yeah. So, I mean,
it's
once
an
you
honorable
see that,
mention for me.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard things. No.
Yeah.
Scrooge is up there for sure. The Richard Donner cut is so cool. Like, especially that it's a DC film. Like, you can say that Donner... And I know I said this earlier, but I'm going to say it live too. Donner walked so Zack Snyder could run. And we all know how great the infamous Zack Snyder is at making DC movies. So, Matt Ripke.
Pretty good. I think Zack Snyder's pretty good.
I think Zack Snyder's pretty freaking good at making a 4-hour-long Justice League movie that we all have to sit through. Hey, I watched the whole thing so I could talk shit about it accurately. But no,
the Mark Bernardin of
you got to put the Lethal Weapon movies up there too, though. I mean, first of all, there's 4 of them, and Mel Gibson and Danny Glover, that trio with Joe Pesci at the end too. Yeah. And it wasn't. I think Chris Rock was in the 4th one too. I think he was Danny Glover's daughter's boyfriend or something. But those movies are awesome, and a lot of inspiration for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier came from Lethal Weapon, and the Falcon and Winter Soldier is one of my new favorite things too. So. To say that Richard Donner had influence on both Kevin Feige as a producer, everything he's done, but also that he's also has separate influence on a project like Falcon and Winter Soldier. I mean, then you have something like The Goonies, which is one of the most influential things of all time. Not that you guys would know, but it's.
I love it.
I'm not going to let that go until you guys see it, because. And you say you get that all the time. You must be not seeing it just to get the reaction out of people like me. That have seen it.
Honestly, I just haven't been interested in watching it.
All right. Well, now you owe it to Donner to watch it.
I do. You're correct. I will do it for.
But yeah, I mean, this man's a Hollywood titan. He's done so much specifically for the industry that we cover.
Yeah.
That's truly a great loss.
Yeah. I mean, the original Superman, like, there's not really much to really say. Like, it really opened the eyes of a lot of people to what a superhero movie could be. And just like, obviously, John Williams had the score, but his directing in that really shines through. Especially what I think about is the moment when, I don't know if he's the accredited writer, but just the whole moment when Lois is falling and Superman catches him, and she's like, he was like, I got you. And she's like, you got me. Who's got you? Like, such a great moment, and like great filmmaking. Man, it's just crazy to think like that movie just set up I feel like just thinking about that time, the creative people in that movie, thinking about how far comic book movies have come from that movie. It's just like unbelievable to think. But yeah.
So. Real quick, I'm going to say my things on Donner, and then I'm going to go right into my list. I'm just going to have a top 3 just to keep it simple. I'm cheating in my top 3, so be prepared. You say that Donner walks so Snyder could run. Bro, you missed the whole point of your breaking news segment. He walked so Kevin Feige could run. Like, action comedies... When you look at the action comedy genre, it kind of starts around a specific time in terms of like, oh, these are really good action movies that are like action comedy. It's not a comedy with some action. It's not an action with some comedy. Lethal Weapon is always one of the first ones mentioned when people talk about action comedies, including Kevin Feige. And if you look at what the MCU is, it's a giant action comedy. That's how you can sell dropping an entire city and killing hundreds of thousands. You can get away with it because guess what? Bad things happen. But over here, Ant-Man's making some jokes about it.
Yeah,
like,
you can tell too. Ant-Man always comes in right after the most like drastic, tragic events. They throw an Ant-Man film in there, and they're like, "Here's a laugh for you."
Yeah, and people, and I think that's why people don't like the Ant-Man films. And I'm just like, why? That's what makes those Ant-Man films great. They are so 100% their own. My personal, that's my sleeper franchise right there. I think it's so under the radar overall. But it's so influenced by Donner and what he did with Lethal Weapon. And then the movies he produced, like being hands-on in the start of what would be Marvel's first cinematic universe of the X-Men. Really, they have their own entire universe. And then that just led to so many more things, and he helped them push everything. And then he just kept going and going until 2006, like 15 years ago. I don't want to do math right now, but he's like 76, right? Yeah, something like that. He was filming a movie at 76 years old.
That's what got me.
That's incredible.
2006, like that's amazing.
Yeah,
he was in his mid-70s, like that. You don't see that, not often.
Mm-mm. No, I mean, you don't even see people living to their mid-70s sometimes. Shit. And then just looking down here at the movies that he was a producer on, The Lost Boys, he was an executive producer.
Wow, that's another big one.
The Free Willy trilogy, he was an executive producer. He was an executive producer of 5 episodes of Tales to the Crypt. I'm guessing the ones he was directing. I'm not correlating them. Oh God, he was producer for a lot more in Tales to the Crypt. Oh, Tales from the Crypt Keeper and Tales from the Crypt, 2 totally different shows. My bad, everybody who's a fan of that. And it's just amazing. Goonies 2 producer announced. What? I feel like that's bullshit. So my top 3, number 1, number 3, Superman. Okay. Probably the first. It probably was the very first Richard Donner movie that I saw. Don't even know when I saw that movie. Everybody knows Superman. I grew up on the cartoons as well. I was like, oh yeah, the live action one. It's amazing. I've seen it plenty of times. Number 2, here's where I'm cheating. Lethal Weapon franchise, because I don't remember which one of the 4 is my absolute favorite of them. I want to say it's Lethal Weapon 2. It might be Lethal Weapon 1. I get the first 2 confused. I don't remember the third one, and I remember the 4th one as Chris Rock, and I don't remember the plot. But I remember that one of them is like head and shoulders above the rest for its absurdity, which is my favorite type of comedy. So the Lethal Weapon franchise is in there, but then Scrooged. We were talking about it before the show. It's probably my favorite thing of just Bill Murray being the star. Yeah. Because it's just so, like, if you know, like, how he's acted to people on set, there's a side of him who's that guy from Scrooge. And then there's also the other guy, the other side, who's just a really down to earth, like, oh, wow. Like, at the end, him at the end, where he's had that revelation, like, there's also that side of him as well. And I had no idea Donner did that. Like, zero idea. And I was just talking today, ironically, about, like, my favorite Christmas movies. And my top 3 I had were, the Grinch, Elf. I always forget the second one for some reason. And then the Santa Claus 1. And Scrooge might knock out the Santa Claus 1. Like, the Santa Claus 1 is a standard Christmas movie. Elf is a standard Christmas movie, but with a different vibe. And then Scrooge and whatever I said my number 1 is are different. They're like not your go-to Christmas plot itself. The Grinch, the whole Where Are You Christmas happened at the same time. I started to not enjoy Christmas because my traditions up to that point were dying because family. So Scrooged, you made it onto my top 3 Christmas list. Happy Christmas in July. Thank you, Richard Donner, for reminding us to be a little bit better. Also, my favorite version of the Ebenezer Scrooge story. Yeah, my favorite interpretation of it by far. It's the only. It was definitely not the one that scared the shit out of me every year, like midnight when I would hear it in my sleep. You have failed. And I'm like, oh,
it's
God.
a toaster.
What about you guys? Like, what would you rank a top 3 as?
I guess I would say Scrooged, Superman. He was an executive producer on it, but I would say I love Free Willy. When I was a kid, I love those movies. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't seen them in maybe 10 years or more, but I remember when I was little when he got his arm up and then it goes over his head. Awesome flick. I remember watching that on like car rides.
You watched it 10 years ago? I haven't seen it since the 90s.
Yeah, I'm saying maybe more than 10 years, right?
Yeah. It was like the last one came out in 97, so
yeah, it's been a while.
I probably watched it in like 97.
Yeah, wow.
What were you saying about your Free Willies?
Oh, what I was what I was gonna add on at the end was like I need to watch Goonies because I've never seen it. I've never had like I've never had the opportunity to see it. Like it's kind of like past my generation. It was never on, I guess, like at my house or anything. Like my brother was never into it. I never had it. Like I feel like it's like a movie you kind of like have around or it's like on TV. And if you know it, you know it. But I never saw it. So I need to check that out. Especially now, I haven't thought about it in years. But that's obviously a very famous movie that I need to check out. So yeah, that's my list.
I do know. Hey, you guys!
It's hard not to know that one.
At like being 14, I had 14. Whatever age I was when I saw that part on that 6-inch thing, the 6-inch screen on the bus. That's when I realized that my sister had been quoting the Goonies for my entire life. I just thought she was being annoying to me because she was born in 85, so like it's her generation. David, I think we should just watch the Goonies and then do a review.
Sure.
We'll hashtag do it for Donner. John Ross Bradford, round us out with your top 3.
Lethal Weapon 2 is on top for sure. And Terry actually put it in there already. I'm too old for this shit. I'll say it. It doesn't get much more iconic than that. A whole generation was able to tag that to Danny Glover, excuse me. Because of that one movie. His chemistry with Mel Gibson throughout that franchise is just, in my opinion, is unparalleled. I truly think that those are two actors that really had just the best chemistry you could find, and Donner hit the jackpot and was able to crank out 4 blockbusters with it. But the second one specifically is my favorite. Goonies has to be number 2, just because I grew up on that film. It was on, I think, like AMC sometimes, or like it was on one of those channels that always plays the same movies, But I would catch the tail end of it a lot because you know how that is. You never see the start of it when you're watching it on cable. Yeah. But
cable.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I know. David said DVR earlier. I was like, what's DVR? But yeah, no, Goonies has to be second for the cast, for the story, for just the adventure. The acting in that movie, usually it's harder to come by really good kid actors now, but that movie killed it with that. And then Scrooged would be number 3 for all the reasons you guys said. I think that's one of Bill Murray's best works ever. And phenomenal job taking a really classic story and putting a modern twist on it for his time. Honestly, that's another movie that just has a great cast. I think it's rounded out really well, and he shows a lot of his talents in that. Oh wow, Terry said Danny Glover is only 41 when he said that line.
Oh wow,
that makes it even more funny. he was only wait, but I guess it was the 4th movie he was trying to retire. Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, that's the thing is those movies are so iconic, and really when you know the name behind these movies, you realize Richard Donner did a lot, and he did a lot really well. So it's hard to make a top 3 list out of those, but those would be mine.
I think that's a damn good list.
This is a fun little activity.
Yeah, I enjoyed this.
Making light of a really unfortunate situation. Yeah.
Just reminding everybody.
I mean, 91.
To watch these movies.
He lived a full life, and look what he was able to do with it. I mean, he gave the world everything he had, and it really the strides he took and what other people were able to build off of that is truly special.
Yeah. His impact will always be felt, which is really cool. Like that being your legacy is immortalized, I suppose. Yeah.
Really quick, Terry says Murtaugh was trying to retire from the first lethal weapon. He unsuccessfully tried to retire in each movie.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's right. He did. Yeah. He was always saying he wanted to get out.
That's unfortunate. Speaking of getting out, David, where can everyone find you on social media?
Yeah, you guys can find me at my name, David Thompson, on Facebook, at David J. Thompson on TikTok and Instagram. And go follow me, guys, on Twitter. That's where I'm most active, where I am most likely to be talking about all the fun things we talk about here on this show. Share out all my articles from thedirect.com at David Thompson. That is 2 A's in the David over on Twitter. Thomas, what about you?
You can get all of my links at linktree.com/TCRochesterACT. That's TCRochesterACT. That'll get you my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, IMDb, website, etc., etc. I'm more active on Twitter these days than anywhere else because this is where I talk about nerd shit. So let's go. John Ross, where can everyone find you on the social medias?
You can find me on Twitter, JRB_direct. That's where I live the most. I will also be tweeting out a link to our Discord over the Direct because I'm super active in that. And guys like David Nestor, who popped up earlier, we have some great conversation literally every single day. So if you want to join us, head over to my Twitter at JRB_direct. I'll be tweeting out the link to that so you guys can join us and have some more good conversation about all this good stuff we're talking about.
Yeah, man. Always a good time.
Awesome. All right, David, do you have any recommendations for the audience this week?
No recommendations, guys. Go read my box office analysis article. I spent a lot of time on that, and I'd much appreciate it. And I think you might learn something and maybe get you kind of amped up for the outsider perspective of Black Widow, not so much the plot of it all, but more of the business side of things. So get excited. Black Widow's this week. You can go read that article to get ready for it, and a lot of other articles on thedirect.com to check out for Black Widow.
John Ross, what about you?
Go watch the Tomorrow War, man. I'm telling you, it's the movie of the summer. I know Black Widow's coming out, and everyone's excited for that. But if you want an original story that just to enjoy and not have to worry about connecting it to all these different projects that we talk about, go watch the Tomorrow War. It's just a great movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, once you said you saw it, I was like, dang, he's going to say that. So I have to come up with something on the spot. I'm going to say, go watch Star Wars The Broken Wills from, again, Travis Troller. Got to promote our homies around the world. Also, I fucking love Star Wars. So
no kidding.
Like, in case you're wondering how much, I have a Sith tattoo next to my heart because love and hate is only skin thin of a difference. That brings us to, ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the end of the show. As always, we could have, first off, no show without John Ross Bradford today. Thank you for joining us, brother.
It was a long one. It was a fun one.
No, thank you guys. I'd do this for 4 hours. You know, I'd sat through the Snyder Cut. So,
this would be more energetic than this.
I agree. No, I would sit with you guys all day and talk about this stuff. So thank you so much for having me back on. And I love being able to talk about what I love. So I really appreciate you guys giving me a platform to do that where I can talk to two great studs like yourselves.
Thanks, man.
Man,
thank you.
He's
thank
the
you.
Stud. You're a stud. But there could be no show without the Clark Kent doppelganger to my right, world famous journalist David Thompson, bringing the news and spicy webs to you, popping into the comments in and out with all the fun facts that we needed today. Terry McIver, thank you for your hard work behind the scenes, guests, socials, research. Without you, bro, you know that we couldn't do shit without you. We would flounder because we have no time. You gotta, ladies and gentlemen, real facts. Like, it takes a team. It takes a team. You gotta be a team players and stuff. And Terry McIver might be the team lead sometimes. Thank you to the HWWS for supporting us and carrying us on the network. Most importantly, thank you to you, our fans, for joining us weekly, whether you're watching on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube,
or listening via Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or Spreaker.
We appreciate you spending your time with us.
Please like, follow, subscribe, drop us a comment, leave a review, and give us 5 stars if you're feeling generous. We appreciate all of your support.
I appreciate you as well.
Thanks,
as
man.
always, I'm Thomas Carter Rochester.
I'm David Thompson.
I'm John Ross Bradford.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. That's what happens when we put it in the notes. Remember to tell people. Thank you for joining episode 63 of Lights Thunder Action. We'll see you Thursday for Loki Special 5 at what time, David?
3 p.m. Eastern.
I'm glad you remembered. For all time.
Always.